So I'm very happy to be here. I'm thankful Bajnath Prabhu for kindly inviting here, Dashrath Nanda Prabhu for kindly organizing, and thank you to all of you dear Vaishnavas for kindly being present here. I am in devotees who are elder to me in age and ashram. So so I'd like to welcome all the Turyashramis here who are sannyasis. And Prabhu, can you once again give the names of all of them? Sajjan Maharaj. No, my class will begin with your name. So this is there should be Mangal Acharan.
Both of them are initiated by Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati disciples. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada and Bhaktivedanta Puri Maharaj.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
And Maharaj is very special. I can tell you his life history. He was one of the best, if not the first, prominent student in university everywhere.
Nice.
And then he got invitations from Tata and other big companies after he completed his studies. But he was very much inclined towards bhakti. He received Prabhupada's Bhakti Bhagavad Gita. And after that, he went to Math in Puri and he met Srila Bhakti Bhaiva Puri Maharaj. And he asked his blessings to get a good job. Because he had to pay back the loan to his family and they sacrificed all the money for his studies. Then Srila Bhakti Bhaiva Puri Maharaj said, you go to Mayapur and you go to Yoga Pit. First you take the blessings of all the Vaishnavas, then you go to Yoga Pit and you take the service of Mahaprabhu. That is the best job. So he was very young, but he is ideal in so many aspects of bhakti and very knowledgeable. So we are lucky he may have some nice questions and perhaps.
And his heart is like a club sugar. Very sweet.
Oh, nice. And Maharaj is
Pujyapat Bhaktivedanta Tapasvi Maharaj.
okay.
So, disciple of Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj.
Oh, wonderful.
And now Guru Maharaj. And Pujyapat Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Maharaj. So all Guru Sannyas.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. So it is said, asajjanah sajjana sangi sangat karoti dussadhyam api sadhyam pushpashraya chambu shirodhirudha pipilika chumbati chandra bimbam. So I'd like to ask a question. Is it possible for an ant to touch the moon? Say yes or no.
No.
No. It's not possible. But there is one word there, sajjan. So that was the beginning point. I remembered. One of the Maharajas is named Sajjan. So asajjanah, a person like myself who is opposite of Sajjan, but Sajjan Sangi Sangat, but in association with Sajjan. Sajjan refers primarily to Maharaj, but by Upalakshan it refers to all of you. Upalakshan means by principle of extension, it refers to all of you. Karoti dussadhyam apiha sadhyam. He can make the impossible possible. And the example is given that Pushpashraya Chambu Shirodhiruda. Usually an ant cannot touch the moon. But if an ant takes shelter of a flower, and if the flower is offered at the head of Bhagwan Shiva, then tell me, can the ant touch the moon?
Yes.
Yes, of course it can touch. Pipilika chumbati chandra bimbam. So even an ant becomes capable of the feat of touching the moon. So that is my condition here today. Shakespeare used to say, some people are born great, some people attain greatness, and some people have greatness thrust upon them. So there are some here who are born great, the sannyasis, all of you devotees, and all of you have also attained greatness by contact with the sadhus, and there is myself upon whom greatness has been thrust that you speak first. Okay. So that is my position here, but I am very thankful to each and every one of you. And the topic of ras is the crux of Gaudiya Vaishnava Darshan, and therefore any topic dealing with ras has to be dealt with very carefully. The Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu was written in an environment here approximately 500 years ago, when there was no possibility of becoming a published author, and there was no guarantee that the manuscript will survive even for 100 years. And there were a handful of sadhus in Vrindavan, and the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu was written in a situation when there was a price on the head of every sadhu, that you bring the severed head of a sadhu and you can get 2 gold coins from the Mughal king. In such a situation, the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu was written. But when we read the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, we get absolutely no idea about the situations in which it was written. Srila Rupa Goswami shielded away all the negativities of his age and gave us only the positive contributions that he had to offer. Compare that to today, where we have all the negativities of the previous generation as well as our generation, and somehow the positive contributions find it difficult to make their way through. So this is one very nice thing about Srila Rupa Goswami, that we are sure there were so many negative things going on at that point of time, but we have very little idea of that, because the Goswamis never passed on any negativity from their age into the next age, into the next generation. And therefore the literature of the 6 Goswamis is free from the criticism of any individual. If we see all the literature of Srila Rupa Goswami, do we find criticism of any individual sampradaya within that literature? All of you have read so much from Sri Rupa Goswami, and we will not find a single instance of any criticism. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami mentions one small incident where Sri Rupa Goswami gives a little advice to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you are going to Sri Vrindavan, please take care of 2 things. First is, don't go with hundreds and thousands of people. That is because Tirtha Yatrar ei nai paripati. They say this is not the way of going to a sacred place. Don't go with thousands of people. If you want to go with 2 or 3 people maximum. And second thing, which has some indirect criticism, never trust the Yavan king, because on the way you will go through Nawab Hussain Shah's kingdom, and he knows that you are closely associated with both of us. So he may give you sweet words, and on the pretext of giving you sweet words, he may make you his captive in order to get us back to his kingdom. So never trust that Nawab Hussain Shah. That is the only indirect criticism of an individual that I have seen from the mouth of Srila Rupa Goswami. But that is also not in his documented teachings. That is just a private advice that he gave to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because the individual who wrote Anya Nindadi Shunya Hridam Ipsita Sanga Labdhya in the Upadeshamritam, he said the highest caliber of a devotee is somebody who is completely free from the tendency to critique others, has also lived up to that in real life. So we know that Srila Rupa Goswami is a person who is walking the talk in his literature, because we will find absolutely no criticism of anybody in any of his writings. And so today we are glad to call ourselves Rupanukas. We feel confident that we are Rupanugas. Because if Sri Rupa Goswami would have taken sides and critiqued one person and praised somebody else, then there would have been divisions and subdivisions and subdivisions, and today we would be feeling doubtful in calling ourselves Rupanugas. But because he never critiqued anybody, and truly speaking, it is he who laid the foundation of that umbrella under which the entire world can feel comfortable. So we are very fortunate to have Sri Rupa Goswami as our Acharya, and sometimes I say I can never imagine, although getting a next birth is up to Bhagwan, but if there is a next birth for myself, I cannot imagine taking birth in a universe where Sri Rupa Goswami has not appeared. Can all of us imagine taking birth in a universe where Sri Rupa Goswami has not appeared? It is very difficult for us to even try to conceive of taking birth in such a universe. So we are very fortunate to have Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, which is the magnum opus of Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. And they are all Prabhupada for us because the term Prabhupada was initially used by Srila Rupa Goswami for his elder brother Srila Sanatan Goswami Pad in Lagu Bhagavatamritam, Srimad Prabhupadambojai, Srimad Bhagavatamritam, that my Prabhupada, Sri Sanatan Goswami, has written Brihad Bhagavatamritam, and I am doing Sankshep. Sankshep is I am doing a summary of the principles of Brihad Bhagavatamritam in Lagu Bhagavatamritam. So originally the term Prabhupada has been used by Srila Rupa Goswami for his elder brother Srila Sanatan Goswami, and this term has also been used for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So originally these are the two instances of the usage of the term Prabhupada. So from that time onwards, all the acharyas who are fitting the criteria of Prabhupada have been given that title Prabhupada. So we have Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, Srila Sanatan Goswami Prabhupada, Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhupada, and all the acharyas in that lineage are Prabhupada. The meaning of Prabhupada is there is one commonly cited meaning of Prabhupada because it's a Sanskrit term, and a Sanskrit term should have a Sanskrit meaning. We should give a Sanskrit to Sanskrit meaning. Sometimes we give an English meaning. So we say, at whose feet all the masters sit. That is the commonly given translation of Prabhupada. So in Sanskrit, this term Prabhupada can be said as Prabhavaha Pade Yasya, which means all the masters, Prabhus, are at whose lotus feet. They are known as Prabhupada. This is one way of understanding the term Prabhupada, and that's the English translation that we have. Prabhavaha Pade Yasya. Pade if we take singular case, or Padayoho if we take dual case. So Prabhavaha Padayoho Yasya. All the masters are at whose two lotus feet. That personality is named as Prabhupada. But there is another esoteric meaning of the term Prabhupada. So I will request all of you to repeat after me. All right? Prabhoho Padau Iva Padau Yasya. So whose lotus feet are just like the lotus feet of Prabhu Shri Krishna. That is known as Prabhupada. This type of a samas in Sanskrit is called as Uttarpad Lopi samas, where the latter term gets removed. So Prabhoho Padav Iva Padav Yasya Sa Prabhupada, whose lotus feet are exactly like the lotus feet of Shri Krishna. Because the feet are compared to a lotus, and the reason many of us know that the jiva is like a bringa. Bringa means is like a bumblebee, and the jiva is unable to find a suitable flower to rest upon completely. And finally, the jiva finds rest and shelter at the feet of the spiritual master or the acharya, and from where the jiva does not have to go anywhere else. But before the jiva can find a resting place with Shri Krishna, the jiva finds its resting place with Prabhupada, the acharya. Therefore, all acharyas whose lotus feet are the shelter for conditioned jivas are fit to be given the title Prabhupada. So this is the meaning of the term Prabhupada. So Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada has given us Bhakti Rasa Amrita Sindhu, and the meaning of the term Bhakti Rasa Amrita Sindhu is Bhaktehe Rasa iti Bhakti Rasa. Bhakti's Rasa is known as Bhakti Rasa because he wants to distinguish it from the mundane rasas available in the material world. Srila Rupa Goswami was a devout follower of Bharat Muni. Devout follower of Bharat Muni. Before he met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Rupa Goswami had written two literatures. One is Hamsadut and one is Natak Chandrika. In both these literatures, we don't find a Mangalacharan verse for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In other literature, we find a Mangalacharan verse for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but in Natak Chandrika and in Hamsadut, we don't find a Mangalacharan verse for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, in Natak Chandrika and in other works, Sri Rupa Goswami very clearly mentions Viksha Bharatamuni Shastran. I have first and foremost carefully studied the literature of Sri Bharat Muni, and any opinion opposing Bharat Muni I don't like. So Sri Rupa Goswami, before he met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, had thoroughly studied Sri Bharat Muni, who is the Acharya of Natya in our country of Bharatvarsha. So Bharat Muni's Natya Shastram is the standard authority for dramaturgy, poetics, and Sri Rupa Goswami had made a complete study of it. In Bharat Muni's Natya Shastram, there is a description of the section of Bhava and Ras, where Bharat Muni says that there are some underlying emotions which are present within the heart of each and every individual. These emotions, when nourished properly, can bring about the experience of Ras. What is the meaning of Ras? There are two important meanings of Ras. The substance that gives you taste is also called Ras. For example, if we place juice in this glass, so that juice also has a name in Hindi and Sanskrit. What is the name, dear devotees? Ras. So that substance which gives you happiness is also called as Ras. Rasyate anena iti rasaha. Through this you taste, therefore it is called as Ras. But more important than that is the experience of happiness is also called Ras. I hope you are able to understand. There is a subtle difference. The instrument which gives the happiness is also called as Ras. That juice is also called as Ras. But that experience of happiness is also called as Ras. Now, how do we experience Rasa? So, Bharat Muni has a very standard procedure. Go watch Natya. Right? What is Natya? Natya is drama. And the first Natya was organized in the Swargaloka. All the Devatas they organized. Natya Shastra calls itself Pancham Veda, fifth Veda. Now here we have run into a contradiction because we have heard that fifth Veda is what? Srimad Bhagavatam. So if Srimad Bhagavatam is the Pancham Veda, then why does Natya Shastra call itself the Pancham Veda, the fifth Veda? The reason behind it is because it is Sarvavarnik Veda. The four Vedas are restricted only to a certain Varna. Trivarna. Trivarna means Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya. But this Veda is Sarvavarnik, which means people from all backgrounds have access to it, Natya Shastra. So in that spirit, Bharat Muni said, this is the fifth one I have made, and this Veda, my fifth Veda, will be available to all Varnas and all Ashramas, except for Bharat Muni and Srimad Bhagavatam says those who are in renounced order of life, they should not watch material Natya, material dramas. But otherwise it is available for everybody. So in that, Bharat Muni has given this particular principle of Bhava and Ras. So in our hearts there are some potential emotions which are waiting to get expressed. And these potential emotions, when the right combination of events and people come in front of us, these potential emotions get nourished by those people and those events, and that nourishment causes us to experience ras. Ras is transcendental happiness. Brahmananda Sahodara, say the poets. It is the younger brother of Brahma Anand. Ras, experience of ras, is the younger brother of Brahmanand. But you need a Sahriday Rasik. Now, does anybody know what is the meaning of Sahriday? Like-minded, and Rasik means connoisseur. Connoisseur of rasa is needed for such an experience. So, when we are sitting in a drama, natya, so we will notice one thing. Nowadays there are fewer dramas as compared to movies. Movies is the standard today, and there is one thing I say about movies and drama, is that in the movie the seat which is the farthest away costs the most, and in a drama the seat which is the closest to the stage costs the most. You must have noticed this thing. So why does the seat which is nearest to the drama cost the most? Because the experience of ras is greatest when you are sitting closest to the stage. I come from a background where there is immense culture of drama. So from where I come, it is Maharashtra, and is very rich in drama. So in Maharashtra we call it Rangamanch. Rangamanch means the manch, the stage is where you can throw ranga, color, upon the audience. They don't throw color, but different rasas have been given different colors in Bharat Muni's concept of rasa. So the actors who are playing, they throw rasas of various colors. And one thing we will notice, even though some of the rasas are painful, but ultimately they give joy within the heart. For example, Ramayana is primarily Karun Ras. Karun Ras, does anybody know what is the English translation of Karun Ras? Piteousness, or you can say piteousness is the an approximate word, or pathetic. Yeah. So you feel distress within the heart, but that experience ultimately is joyous. Even distress is joyous. That is the principle of ras.
Look again and again.
You look again and again. I'll give a very crude example which will help everybody understand. So the place where I come from is known as Mumbai, and Mumbai is responsible for spoiling the entire India. We're very proud we spoiled the entire India, because we have one industry. Does anybody know which industry that is? Bollywood, yeah. So in Bollywood, every year they churn out thousands of songs, and the songs, romantic songs, can be broadly classified into two types: songs of union and songs of separation. Now can you imagine which songs are appreciated more? Separation. But separation is painful, isn't it, Prabhu? Separation is painful, or then why do people like to enjoy songs of separation? That's a big question.
Pathetic.
Because ultimately, even though it externally appears as distress, within the heart it is generating a feeling of joy. So people want to relish that joy of being unhappy, and it's a contradiction, Some people want to relish the happiness of being sad, and that is where these rasas come into play. Ultimately the experience brings bliss unto you. So Bharat Muni said there are these emotions within the heart. These emotions within the heart that every human being is gifted with is known as Sthayi Bhav. Sthayi Bhav, each and every one of us has within the heart. For example, there is Hasyarati. Hasyarati means each and every one has the capability of experiencing humor. But when you are watching a drama, and when the actors play a role in such a way that it generates that, it nourishes that Hasyarati within the heart, then people start laughing out. So that is how those rasas are produced. One time my father took me to a drama. It was a Ramayan drama, Marathi. We were sitting on the stage, and I remember very vividly. The incident was Bharat Milap. Bharat Milap means Bharat comes to the forest and he wants to convince Bhagavan Ram, please come back, reclaim your kingdom. Our father is no more. So as soon as Bhagavan Ram comes to know that father is no more, he starts crying because he is exhibiting Nar Leela. And after that, Bhagavan Ram says, I cannot come, but I will give you my slippers, Paduka. And Bharat takes the slippers upon his head and he is turning around, and I saw the audience is crying. So many years later, I thought about it. I should have asked the person, why are you crying? Your brother is sitting right next to you. Why are you crying? So he is crying because he is experiencing, he is empathizing with a particular person on the stage, and if he is empathizing with Bharat, then he is feeling the same rasa that is going on in the heart of the actor who is playing the role of Bharat, and that comes to the heart of this particular person, and then an experience of rasa is immediately generated. This is called Drishya Kavya. Drishya Kavya means poetry which is enacted live on the stage. Another type of kavya is called Shravya Kavya. Shravya Kavya is when the person who is giving a talk recreates the entire scene for us. So that the task of that person is very difficult, because on his sole strength he has to create the entire scene, and then he has to make you empathize with one character. So that, dear devotees, is Shravya Kavya. So most of the talks that are given, and if any ras is generated in any of those talks, we are hearing Shravya Kavya, or poetry that is in the form of a dialogue or a discussion. But Sri Rupa Goswami didn't want it to be limited only to such discussions like we are having today. Sri Rupa Goswami wanted it to also be in the form of Drishya Kavya. And Drishya Kavya, he wrote himself personally, Lalita Madhav Natakam, Vidagdha Madhav Natakam. So these Natakams are often translated into books. Often we have seen translations of Lalita Madhav and Vidagdha Madhav. Originally these are meant to be transcreated on the stage. That is the purpose of Lalita Madhavam and Vidagdha Madhavam. That it's very nice to have a translation, but then translation changes a Drishya Kavya into a Shravya Kavya. Whereas the original intention of Sri Rupa Goswami was it should remain a Drishya Kavya. It should remain something which can be enacted on the stage. So Sri Rupa Goswami but gave many examples of Shravya Kavya in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, he discussed so many rasas, and primarily the rasas were Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. Shanta ras has its Sthayi Bhav Shantarati. Dasya ras has its Sthayi Bhav Preet Rati. Sakhya ras has its Sthayi Bhav Preyo Rati. Vatsalya ras has its Sthayi Bhav Vatsal Rati. Madhurya ras has its Sthayi Bhav Madhura Rati. So every ras has its Sthayi Bhav. What is Sthayi Bhav and how it is transformed into ras? Does everybody understand here how it gets transformed into ras? Or should I give a very short explanation? Alright, I will give a short explanation. Previous acharyas have explained with the help of the example of cooking a sabji, right? Or for those who are born in the West, making a pizza. Let's make a pizza. How many of us have had a pizza? You know, no, everybody. Let's have a pizza. Okay.
You can do the Drishya, the experience. We have pizzas.
Oh, we have pizza. So in order to make a pizza, we need one of the most fundamental ingredient in order to make a pizza. What is that, dear devotees?
Cheese.
Nah.
Dough.
Dough. So the dough acts as the base for the pizza. If there is no dough, we cannot call it pizza. You can call it anything else in the world, but there's one thing you cannot call it. You cannot call it pizza. So it's called the base. The dough is called as the base.
The staiva.
Yeah. So it is compared by the acharyas to sthai bhav. So each and every one of us has the base, but simply by having the base or the dough of the pizza, can we call it pizza? No.
No.
So we need other ingredients in order to nourish the experience of the pizza. And the other ingredients, well, I have never made, but I have been told that you put sauce and then you add cheese, you add herbs, and then not only that, you put it in an oven and you bake it for a good amount of time, and that heat, it melts all the ingredients into one structure, and what comes out, and then you have a bite of it.
Rasa.
The experience, dear devotees, is called as rasa. The only difference is it is bhojan rasa. It is not bhakti rasa. It is which rasa? Bhojan rasa. That is the difference.
But if it's offered first, then it becomes bhakti rasa.
Yeah. It becomes anga of bhakti. Right? We understand. It becomes one of the 64 limb naivedya. That one of the 64 limbs of bhakti. It becomes that 100%. But it is rare to find a person who, upon eating, will start experiencing bhakti ras. It may be possible. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu experienced. Madhu Mangal, yeah. Ek din shanti pure Prabhu advaitera ghare Dui Prabhu bhojane basilo Shaka kari aswadana Prabhu bole bhakta gana Eisha Krishna aswadilo. Isn't it? So this is when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had shak, his ecstatic feelings in his body. Oh, Krishna has eaten this shak. So of course it can be bhakti ras, but right now for our discussion it is bhojan ras.
The example of juice you said, so that the juice is
Bhojan ras.
fine.
Bhojan ras. There are 6 bhojan rasas. Katu, Amla, Tikta, Kashay, Madhur, Lavan. 6. Now I will explain what are the 6 bhojan rasas. Katu is Katu is pungent. Tikha. Mirchi. Oh, chili. Chili is katu. Tikta is bitter. Yeah. We think katu is bitter. No, in Sanskrit, katu means pungent. Tikta is bitter. Madhur is sweet. Lavan is salty. Kashay is astringent. And which one remains? So there are 6 total bhojan rasas. Now, sour. Yeah. So amla remains. So, if everybody is asked which is your favorite juice, so somebody will say sweet. Now, whosoever agrees with Mataji, they are sahriday, like-minded to her. But there are some who are supporters of tangy variety. Please raise your hands. Who likes slightly sour juices? Please raise your hands. Yes, there is one. There is to see. So these people are not sahriday. Acha, even in her case, she said, I like sweet. So, Mataji, let's make an arrangement. In sweet juices, which is your most favorite?
In sweet juices.
Yeah.
Uh,
Give a flavor.
Mango.
Mango, all right. So, Mataji, 1 month, continuous everyday mango juice for you, free of cost, as much as you want. Are you okay?
yeah, at some point.
At some point. Oh my God. We thought that it was your favorite juice. But the fact is that rasa also needs some variety in itself. That is when it becomes really joyous. So Sri Rupa Goswami also similarly. Acha, when we are eating the pizza, I'd like to ask a question. The ras that we are experiencing, are we experiencing the taste of the dough or the cheese or the herbs, or are we experiencing a completely different taste from all of these? Please tell me.
It is experiencing what we wanted to have, different from inside what we have.
No. When you are biting on the pizza, are you tasting the dough, the cheese, the herbs, the olives. What are you tasting? In total? Then I should just mix everything without putting it in the oven, and you should have the same experience. The fact that you made it go through a process of heating up, all of them amalgamated into each other, and the resultant taste was something completely transcendental to the individual elements. I hope you are able to understand. This is ras. It is a taste which is completely different to the original ingredients of that ras. So this is what produces the transcendentalness of rasa. So that transcendentalness comes from it being from a completely different jati, from a completely different altogether origin. And Sri Rupa Goswami, like this principle, he included it in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, made it the founding principle. But Sri Rupa Goswami had a major difference of opinion with the previous authorities on ras. The previous authorities on ras never considered bhakti as a ras, most of them. Acharya Vaman, there are many previous poets who don't consider bhakti as a ras. They say bhakti is a sanchari bhav. That is what it is. Bhakti is a which bhav? Sanchari bhav. If it is a sanchari bhav, there should be a sthai bhav. I hope you are able to understand, because there should be a main emotion. So the main sthai bhav is shantaras. According to Abhinav Gupta and other poets, bhakti is just a sanchari bhav. It's a transitory emotion. It rises, it merges again into the main predominant emotion, which is known as which rasa? Shant. Because Abhinav Gupta was a monist impersonalist from the Kashmir Shaiva school. So according to him, bhakti ultimately is which ras, dear devotees? Shant ras. Sri Rupa Goswami is in fact in one way posing a direct challenge to previous poets, and therefore in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu he wrote a verse, Mimamsa Badavagne Katinamapi Kunthayan Asau Jivam, that these Mimamsaks, these people who are doing surgery of tattva and concepts, these people who are dedicated to research into each and every tattva, they will try to find faults with bhakti ras. And Sri Jiva Goswami says in the commentary that Rupa Goswami is saying, I don't have the time and energy to deal with the pandits of the opposite opinion. I don't have the time and energy to deal with pandits of the opposite opinion. But Sri Rupa Goswami, you are giving ras, and to give such an important principle, bhakti ras, you need support from the previous acharyas. Yeah, I have support from previous acharyas. Which acharya supports? Srila Sridhar Swami supports. Who is Srila Sridhar Swami? He is the famous commentator on the Bhagavatam. Where does he support rasa? Oh, he supports it in the verse where Krishna entered into the arena of Kamsa. Mallanam Ashanirnranam Naravara Strinam Smaro Murtiman. You see Srila Sridhar Swami's commentary on that, and he says that Krishna is giving various bhakti rasas to different individuals. That is the place where you will find a mention of bhakti ras previous to me. So I am not an inventor of it. I am just a connoisseur of it who is giving the finer details of bhakti ras. That is what I am doing. If you want support from previous authorities, go to Srila Sridhar Swami. Is there anybody else? Of course there are other people who support bhakti ras. Acha, who is there? So there was a very famous Vaishnava in the western side of India. His name was Vopadev. Many of us might have heard. So Vopadev was so famous, his commentary on the Bhagavatam was so famous, people started mistaking that Vopadev wrote Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada in his purports, he clarifies that it was not Vopadev who wrote Bhagavatam, it was actually Sri Vyasadev who wrote Srimad Bhagavatam. Vopadev rearranged the Bhagavatam into sections, just like we have the 6 Sandarbhas. They are a rearrangement of the various sections of Srimad Bhagavatam. Vopadev was the first one, a Vaishnava from Maharashtra, to do such a rearrangement. And in his literature, he clearly said that bhakti is a ras. All other poets are saying bhakti is a sanchari bhava, transitory emotion. But no, bhakti is a ras. It has a sthai bhav, and these sthai bhavs are categorized into 5 main: Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. Now, in these 5, 4 were described in great detail in the Sindhu. By Sindhu, I am saying Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Right? Sindhu is a short term for Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. In the Sindhu, 4 were described in great detail, but 1 was left out in the Sindhu. Can anybody tell me which rasa was not described in great detail in the Sindhu? Yeah, so some will say Shanta, but the answer is Madhurya. Madhurya was left out in the Sindhu. Why was Madhurya left out in the Sindhu? So Sri Rupa Goswami says in the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, in the Western Division, 5th wave, 2nd verse. I will try to speak. Please hear and repeat after me. Nivritta anupayogitva duruhatvad ayam rasah rahasyatvat cha samkshipya vitatango vilikhyate. He says nivritta anupayogitvat. Rupa Goswami, he is seeing around himself. We have to go 500 years ago. He says there are some people who are nivritta. Does anybody know what is the meaning of nivritta? Nivritta tarshair. Wonderful. So nivritta means one who is detached. Nivritta means one who is detached. So Sri Rupa Goswami is saying nivritta anupayogitvat. This Madhurya Ras is unfit for those who are detached. Oh my goodness. So that poses a big problem, because many Vaishnavas in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement are what? Detached. So my goodness, then they will become automatically excluded from which rasa? Madhurya Rasa. Then it will become only for the Grihasthas. But that is not the Nivritta he is speaking about. What is the meaning of Nivritta? He is speaking about those people who are so detached that even in the pastimes of Shri Shri Radha Krishna, they perceive them to be affairs of a mundane boy and girl, and they want to stay away even from the pastimes of Shri Shri Radha Krishna when they are described in the Srimad Bhagavatam. We have very rasik sannyasis in our parampara, such as Shri Prabodhananda Saraswati. Very rasik sannyasis. And at the same time, we have very rasika grihasthas. For example, who was that he with all the rings in all the fingers? Sri Pundarik Vidyanidhi. So we have very rasika sannyasis, we have very rasika grihasthas. So what is the meaning of Nivritta? Sri Jiva Goswami says, Prakrita Shringara Rasa Samadrishtya. They see all love affairs as materialistic. Any mention of any love affair for them is materialistic. Stay away. Bhagavatadapi asmad rasad virakteshu. Even if Srimad Bhagavatam is giving a love affair, they become detached from it. These are the people who are spoken of in this verse. So which Nivrittas? Basically the impersonalists that Sri Rupa Goswami saw around himself, who used to say that this pastime of Radha Krishna, don't try to indulge into that, because they will bring you back to the material world, affairs of love between boy and girl. So Sri Rupa Goswami said this is not for them. They are disqualified from this. So dear devotees, one thing we should understand, that if in our minds we have this impression that the pastimes of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna will harm us, then it is not for us. I hope you are able to understand. The pastimes are for an eligible person who has the adhikar for receiving those pastimes. If we are going to assume that after our death we are going to start with Radha Krishna pastimes, that is a mistake. Because seva sadhaka rupena siddha rupena cha atrahi, here itself in this life, that we have to understand what is sadhaka rupa seva, siddha rupa seva. Sri Rupa Goswami is very clear instruction. So Duru Hatvad Ayam Rasa. Secondly, it is very difficult to understand this particular rasa, because there are many subtleties within it and it is not clearly explained by many previous authorities. Rahasyatvacha, third thing is it is secret. Rupa Goswami is saying it's a secret affair, because if there is one arasik in the sabha, in the audience, that one arasik can spoil the mood of the entire audience. So, in my childhood, my teacher gave an example. If one dead fly falls within a packet of sweets, it can give diarrhea to the entire marriage party. I hope you are able to understand. Huh? If one arasik falls in an assembly where such topics are discussed, that one arasik can give, pain to all the people who are sitting and expecting some rasa. So this is nature of Madhurya rasa. Therefore, Sankshipya, I am just summarizing it here, Vitatango, because it has many limbs, Vilikhyate. So that Sri Rupa Goswami Madhurya ras, he spoke of very briefly in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Then a secret literature was separately written, which is a supplementary part of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which is Sri Ujjwal Nilmani. Today, the book is available and it is very nice that it is available, but this verse is, it should be highlighted that it is not for those who are too detached. Rupa Goswami, nowadays the prachar is, it is not for those who are too attached. There is opposite prachar, that is also correct, but mainly Sri Rupa Goswami's concern was it is not for those who are too detached. Why? Because the person who is too detached, their main concern is to escape the material world. Mukti. Let's quickly attain liberation. It's very painful to stay in the world. So Sri Rupa Goswami doesn't want such people as candidates for Madhurya ras. Those who are saying we will stay here, that's all right. If mukti comes as a side effect, if it is favorable for our seva, then we will consider it. If that attitude is there, they are good people for relishing. Because many of the pastimes of Sri Sri Radha Krishna took place in this world, which is called as Gokul. So Gokul has so many pastimes of Sri Sri Radha Krishna wherein both of them are growing up. When they are growing up, the first symptom of the first stage of separation is called as Purvarag, because Premna Vakragati, love has a twisted way of moving around. Love doesn't move in a straight line. Crooked. Love is very crooked. If love remains in a straight line, there is no fun. That is, there was Sri Radha, there was Sri Krishna, they met and they lived happily ever after. How does that sound? Boring. So that is not how the pastimes are supposed to proceed. It should be as crooked as a snake. And because the Nayak, the hero, the predominant hero, is the one upon whom a lot of this is depending, therefore the Nayak should be crooked. If we have a Nayak like Bhagwan Ramchandra, that will not happen. Also, we need a Nayika who is simple for the simple but crooked for the crooked. I hope you are able to understand. Because sometimes the Nayika, she becomes simple even though Krishna is crooked. This happened with Srimati Rukmini Devi. That Bhagavan once is saying, after many years of marriage, he is saying, Rukmini, are you sure it was a good idea? People don't know what is my jati. You know what jati? What is my exact family lineage? Some people say I am born in Kshatriya jati from Vasudeva and Devaki. Other people say I am born from Gop Jati, Nandan, Yashoda. People are not certain about my jati. Your jati is certain, Rukmini. You are born in Kshatriya family. Are you sure you made the correct choice? And nowadays I have retired from my kingdom. I have given most of it to Maharaj Ugrasen. I am just living on state benefit. That is what I am doing nowadays. And Syamantak Mani is taking care of most of us. But there is still time. Rukmini, there is still time. Your beauty is not lost. There is still time. By the time this was spoken, it's already fainted. And our Bhagavan has to manifest 4 arms. 2 arms he is protecting her, 2 arms he is, caressing her hair. Are.
No, I didn't mean it. I'm just kidding.
So when she woke up, then Bhagavan said, Are, the only pleasure of a grihastha is to make such jokes with one's wife. You won't even let me have that particular pleasure. Acha, you were joking with me. Why didn't you tell me earlier? So that sort of Naika will also not do. So we need a Naika who is Madhya Naika, Madhya or Madhyama Naika, who is right in between of simplicity and crookedness. So Sri Radha is that Madhya Naika. She is the one who can give a perfect reply to every crooked move of Shri Krishna. But if Shri Krishna wants her to be defeated in a certain place, she will agree to be defeated for his pleasure. But if Shri Krishna wants some time for her to defeat him, then she has the required capability to defeat him at each and every step. So this is Sri Radha's mood and disposition towards Bhagavan Shri Krishna. And in this mood and disposition, the Sahridayas, those who are like-minded, now come into play. Dear devotees, who are we Sahriday with? Who are we like-minded with? That question arises. And the answer to that question will lead us to what is known as Bhavollas Rati. Because when we are watching a Shravya, when we are in our hearts, we are seeing a Shravya Kavya, or on the stage, if we are seeing a Drishya Kavya. So in our hearts, if we are visualizing a Shravya Kavya, or in front of us, if we are seeing a Drishya Kavya, with whom will we empathize? This question will settle the deal for us. I hope you are able to understand. This is the deal breaker. Who are we Sahriday with ultimately? Arre, but Akhila Rasamrita Murti.
But without Radharani, Krishna is hero.
Oh.
With Radharani, he is a hero.
Oh, with Radharani, he is a hero. But Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu begins with, Akhila Rasamrita Murti, Prasamara Ruchi Ruddha Taraka Pali, Kalita Shyama Lalito, Radha Preyan Vidhur Jayati. This verse in Arya Chanda, this verse begins with an adjective of Shri Krishna, Akhila Rasamrita Murti, which means the mainstay of all the Bhakti Rasas is Shri Krishna. Now, if we have, do we have no connection at all with Shri Krishna? Do we want to have no connection at all with Shri Krishna in the
How you want?
We have this Naiva
They
Krishna.
should always serve Radharani.
Because there are certain individuals who say, I don't want to have anything to do with Krishna. Then might as well install one murti on the altar. Not Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan, only Shri Shri Radha. How does that sound? That doesn't sound good. Why doesn't it sound good? But for our purpose, it sounds very good. Aren't we the ones who are shouting on top rooftops, Sri Radha is the highest for us.
The favorite of Sri Radharani is
हाँ,
Shri Krishna.
Shri Krishna.
तो उनकी favorite है तो हमारे दो गुना favorite है भट्ट जी महाराज जैसे.
Okay,
महाराज
so
जैसे.
he's saying because
उनकी
Krishna
चार
is
गुना, चार गुना.
हाँ, Krishna is her favorite, so Krishna also becomes our favorite.
Yes.
Double favorite.
Double favorite.
Indirect favoritism of Shri Krishna. Have you no personal attraction towards Shri Krishna?
Krishna himself is.
All that sadhan of chanting Krishna Naam, in the end just dump him away and said, "Ah, we have." How does that sound? Does that sound grateful or ungrateful? Acha, no problem. So, in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Sri Rupa Goswami composes a verse in the southern section, 5th wave, 128th verse. Please repeat after me. Sanchari syat samano va Krishna ratyah suhridrati adhika pushyamana che bhavollas itiryate. Sometimes a particular associate of Krishna who has his main emotion towards Krishna, who as Krishna has his main shelter of emotions, they may sometimes develop a certain rati, a certain mood towards one of the associates of Shri Krishna. Sometimes somebody may develop more affection for Nanda Maharaj as compared to Shri Krishna. Sometimes it happens. But Sri Rupa Goswami says, Sanchari syat. It is Sanchari if it is Samanova, if that attachment is same as Krishna's. As long as it is lesser and same, it is called as which bhav? Sanchari bhav. But adhika pushyamana chet, if it starts increasing, if that attachment to that associate of Krishna becomes adhika means more, and pushyamana means more nourished, greater and more nourished. Chet, if bhavollasa itiryate, then it is called as which rati? Bhavollas rati. So this bhavollas rati is nothing but what the Manjari associates are having towards Srimati Radharani, and that is called as Radha Dasyam. Ultimately, what is our aim? Shri Krishna Dasyam or Shri Radha Dasyam? What is more prominent for us? Let's just put it that way. What is more prominent for us? Shri Radha Dasyam. That is what it is. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada was once asked this question, who is a Gaudiya? So then his reply was, the devotees of Vishnu are called as Vaishnavas, the devotees of Krishna are called Karshnas, and the devotees of Sri Radha are called Gaudiyas. Gaudiyas. The devotees of Sri Radha are called Gaudiyas. In one short sentence, he gave that reply. So we have from our authority, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, that Gaudiyas have greater affinity for the service of Sri Radha. And at the same time, we also have attachment for Sri Krishna. But our attachment for Sri Radha way supersedes our attachment for Sri Krishna. It's not that we don't like him, it's not that you are a nobody for us, it's not like that. But our attachment for Sri Radha is much greater than our attachment for Sri Krishna. And there is great profit in that. Because believe me, you don't want to be under a crooked person for eternity. Let me tell you one thing. You don't want to be under a crooked person for eternity. If you would like to have a person to serve for eternity, would you rather have that as a simple person or as a crooked person who can swindle you at any moment? Which sort of a master would you like to have for eternity? Ultimately, we all know. We don't want trickery on each and every step. So much better is to serve home Srimati Radharani, and him we will deal with as long as we are under her. We will deal with him, because the number of tricks that she has on her sleeve is certainly greater. So him we will deal with. But it's important that ultimately we be sheltered under a very kind-hearted, very simple-hearted, and very merciful personality. And Shri Krishna doesn't fit that criteria so well. Let's just put it that way. Why? Let me tell you one thing. Why I am? Because I am not an opponent of Krishna. Just to be honest, I am not an opponent of Shri Krishna. But there is a reason why I am saying this. In Dwapar Yuga, he came and spoke a big philosophy, Bhagavad Gita. And in Gita, he gave Arjun Bhakti Yoga. And he said, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tatvatah. And all the Gita was spoken in Dwapar Yuga. Now you all have to help me, tell me how many devotees were made by reading Bhagavad Gita in Dwapar Yuga. You have to give me names. Arjun was already eternal associate. We want to pick people from the material world and make them devotees. How many became devotees after Bhagavad Gita was spoken? Huh? Uddhav. Uddhav is another associate.
He didn't speak it for the Dwapar Yuga people. He spoke it for eternity.
Yeah, but it should have had some effect on Dwapar Yuga people. Maybe you can count a few on fingertips, because that is Krishna in the mood of Krishna. And people are afraid because there are many conditions of becoming a devotee in Bhagavad Gita. You read the 12th chapter, amanitvam, adambhitvam, be free of pride, be free of ego, and be very clean in your habits and everything, and that devotee is dear to me. And what about other devotees? They are not dear to you. When this Shri Krishna comes in Kali Yuga, how many became devotees? And all we are Pratyaksh Praman, all right? Live example. You don't need to go outside. Acha, what was different in this Krishna in Kali Yuga that was not there in Dwapar Yuga Krishna? What was so different?
He was like a businessman.
Previous was transactional. Sarva dharman parityaja. Give up all. You give me that, I give you that. You give me this, I'll give you. Achha, if I don't give up all religion, then I don't take any guarantee. Acha. Bhagwan, when will you give up your business? In Kali Yuga. Vyasdev, after reading all of that Mahabharata, 17 Puranas, he is in little depression. I am not feeling happy within my heart. My problem, I am Vyasadev, I am the one who is supposed to make the entire world happy. My problem is I am not feeling happy within my own heart. What should I do? Narad Muni came and said, are you happy? I am not happy. Why are you, again asking me the same question? Are you happy? You did not describe the glories of Bhagavan. Now write a literature which is unconditionally describing the glories of Bhagavan. And that literature, dear devotees, was Srimad Bhagavatam. In the second verse, Mokshabhi Sandhir api nirasta. Even the desire for moksha is to be given up. All of you become desireless in that regard. You give up all of your prerequisites, preconditions. Bhagavan will also come without preconditions. Bhagavan will come with one condition. Can you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Yes? Can you chant once for me? Yes? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Now all of you are devotees. Chalo. This is what is needed. How does this Krishna sound? Very nice. Radha Bhava Dhyuti Suvalitam. Not only did he get the bhav, the mood, also got the beautiful, effulgent skin tone of Srimati Radharani. So both of them he got the best of both the worlds. The best of the mood and the best of the effulgence and skin tone he got, and he came as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yeah. So that is why we are supporters of her. Another reason why we are supporters of her is because in the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Vyasdev mentioned everybody's name, but he did not mention the name of a single gopi. Not even the name of a single gopi. Do we find the name of Lalita and Vishakha in 10th canto? I searched many times in the Vedabase. Nothing in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Yashoda's name is there. Because she is mother, her relationship can be acknowledged in front of the world. What about Sri Radha's relationship? Is her name to be found in the Bhagavatam?
Secret.
Oh yeah. We have the indirect,
What about 10th canto Gopi? Are they different? Brahmardi?
Yeah.
All
All of them, the gopis came and said, but we need a specific name. My simple question, Maharaj, is Nanda Maharaj's name there in the 10th canto? Yes. Is Yashoda Maiya's name there? Yes. Is the Sakha Sridama Subal's name there? Yes. What is wrong with Sri Radha's name? Rohini's name is there? What is wrong with Sri Radha? What is her mistake? Her name is not mentioned. What did she do? Her name is not mentioned. Why Vyasadev? Sri Vyasadev, you will not mention her name? Gupta. Commentators are very expert, in justifying what Sri Vyasadev did. But we know one thing for sure. One reason why their name is hidden is because society will never accept that relationship. Society will not accept such a relationship. Tomorrow, in the material world, if a girl falls in love with a man who is not her husband, people will start calling her Radha. If Sri Vyasadev mentions her name, people will start saying, oh, she is like Radha.
And that too written in a scripture.
And
scriptures automatically.
Yeah, because scripture is Praman, Shastra is Praman. So if Sri Vyasadev says that there was somebody known as Sri Radha who fell in love with a person who was not her husband, and then tomorrow in the material world people will say, so she fell in love with somebody who is not her husband, she is Radha. Sri Vyasadev cannot take that risk. I hope you are able to understand. We will not do that. Her name is hidden in the Srimad Bhagavatam. But dear devotees, she was the one who loved Sri Krishna the most, especially in Kurukshetra. After so many years of separation, when they met in Kurukshetra, it was a very, very difficult meeting. Bhagavan left at how many years? 11.5 years of age, and said, I will come back, and did not come back, went to Mathura. Mathura is called as Pravas, and from there went Sudur Pravas, which is Sri Dwarka. And from Dwarka only once some news used to come. He has married 16,000. That news used to come. He has married 5 more. He has married 2 more. So then those news used to come from various agents, and the gopis used to feel distress. After many decades, there was an opportunity to meet. That was during solar eclipse at Kurukshetra. After almost 40 to 50 years of not seeing each other, in Kurukshetra, our Bhagavan also came, and the Vrajavasis also came on that pretext. In Kurukshetra, our Bhagavan was Maharaj. He is not just Nanda Maharaj's son. He is Maharaj Shri Krishna. When Maharaj comes, everybody should stand in line, especially the villagers. From where have you come? Which village have you come? Vrindavan? Acha, you want to meet Maharaj? Maharaj is very busy. He will see you in some time. Wait here in the tent. So in a tent they are made to wait. Their devotees like villagers, they sitting down. After 40 years our Bhagavan came as Maharaj in front of the Vrajavasis. And they were all sitting there, the soldiers were preventing them. They were all sitting there, and then their devotees, they saw Bhagavan Sri Krishna decorated. In that situation, Srimati Radharani said, No, yeah, that verse Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could not find. Yaha Kaumar Hara Sa Eva Hivara. He started singing a verse from Kavya Prakash, from a mundane literature. And Sri Rupa Goswami becomes his poet and composes that verse, which is the parallel verse. In that place, when Bhagwan meets Nanda Maharaj, all the gopis he meets, he is trying to look for one particular gopi there. Which gopi is he trying to find, dear devotees? But her name is not mentioned.
Like we say, like Anya Radhika Nunam, so that is also secret.
Prabhu, Anaya Radhito Nunam, if you take the Sanskrit meaning, Anaya, by her, Aradhito, he was worshipped. By her, Anaya is a pronoun. It is Sarvanam, it is not a naam. It is not a noun. Is Anaya a noun or a pronoun? It's a pronoun. Those who are trying to do word jugglery, they can extract meanings from anywhere. You can say that, it is hidden there, Anaya Radhito Nunam. Sure, no problem, you may say it is hidden there. But the term is Radha. Akarant. Every lady's name is ending with A. It doesn't end with short A. Anaya Radhito. Even the full name Radha is not there. Not even a declension of the name Radha is there. If you at all have to mention it indirectly or hide it somewhere, at least mention the complete name. Is the name so unmentionable that even once you cannot mention it fully? We are not satisfied with this. Let's be very honest. We are not satisfied with this. Commentators will say, to Sri Radha, no problem. And we are happy that the commentators made it obvious to us. But we will be happy when her name is brought out clearly. And that is why in Kali Yuga we brought out her name. That is why in Kali Yuga, in every deity's name, her name will be placed first. That is why in the Mahamantra, her name will come first and her name will come the maximum number of times. In Hare, Krishna and Ram, which name is repeated the most number of times? Hare. That is Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Dear devotees. So this is what I can say. We are Pakshadhar. We are biased towards Sri Radha because such a Swamini, such a master, such a leader, we cannot find in Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna is very crooked at heart and sometimes cruel hearted, to the point of deserting his near and dear ones for decades. But we have faith that even when Sri Krishna goes to Mathura or Dwaraka, we will have our Ishta Devata, Srimati Radharani, who will never leave us at any point of time. So this is where, I'd like to pause my speech. Thank you very much. Yadatra Skhalitam Kinchit Vidvamsah Purayantu Tat. Yadatra Saushthavam Kinchit Tad Guroreva Me Nahi. Yadatra Skhalitam Kinchit. If there is any mistake I made, Vidvamsah, you are learned devotees, Purayantu Tat. Please correct any mistakes. But Yadatra Saushthavam Kinchit, if there is anything nice, please remember Tad Guroreva. It belongs to my Guru Janas, my Diksha Guru, Sri Srimad Radha Govinda Das Goswami Maharaj, my Shiksha Gurus, all the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, all the God brothers of Srila Prabhupada, all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas from all the parivars of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lineage, in the past, in the future and also in the present, all of you are also my Guru Janas. It belongs to you, may nahi, it doesn't belong to me. Thank you very much once again. Hare Krishna.
Both in the Bhagavan and Amrita.
Thank you.
Sadhu.
Sadhu,
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sajjan sadhu.
So my Sannyas Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Rai Maharaj, one commentary he makes why Sukadev Goswami did not mention and Vyasadeva did not mention the name Radha, because if Sukadev said Radha, he only had 7 days to talk to Ambarish.
Parikshit Maharaj.
Parikshit Maharaj. So he would have gone into a trance and then maybe unconscious for.
Yeah. So that definitely, that explanation also comes from the previous commentators, because the previous commentators have said that Atmanama Guror Nama Namati Kripanasya Cha Shreyas Kamo Na Grihiniya Jeshtapatya Kalatrayo. one should not utter the name of one's guru in public, especially if the guru is very confidential and you're speaking on a confidential topic. Another reason, that's in line with the same reason, commentators have also explained that he will fall into an ecstasy and will not be able to speak ahead. So these are wonderful reasons. All the commentators have given wonderful reasons. So many different reasons. And when we see so many reasons, these are called as vividh artha, many meanings. And we are also looking for bhavartha. What was the essential reason that he did not speak? But that bhavartha is not explained in all the commentators have given various reasons. But that bhavartha, it depends on what every guru is saying. Some gurus say the essential reason why he did not speak is because he will fall into trance. Some others say because the essential reason why he did not speak, because if he speaks, then it will be known in the society that there were some who were not devoted to their husbands, and one of them was named Radha. So any girl who is unchaste in the ordinary material world will also get designated by that name, and he doesn't want to spoil the name of any gopi. Therefore, he does not speak. So there are many reasons, and all reasons are very nice and appreciated. I come from the western side of India, and the commentators on our side are little spicy. They are not sweet like Gaudiya Vaishnava commentators. They know how to give Krishna a good dose of sarcastic sauce when he behaves in a way with the gopis that is not supposed to behave. So there is Sri Harisuri, who is from the western side of India. He is a commentator on the 10th canto. When Shukdev Goswami doesn't mention her name, Sri Krishna leaves her in the middle of the Rasa Leela, and then he starts saying, to Sri Krishna, she is looking at the moon because the full moon was there, and she is burning under the tap, under the cooling rays of the full moon. This is opposite effect. So she is burning under the cooling rays of the full moon. So then Sri Harisuri takes her side and he says, Jatu chidap yadyapi, that, oh moon, you are very shameless. Let me tell you why. In good families there is a tradition. What is the tradition? If a boy becomes marriageable age, then in a good family what they do, the elders take their kara means hand, and they take the kara of the boy and place it in the hand of a suitable girl. Isn't this the practice in good families? Please tell me, yes or no? Yes. Moon, in your family also some boy has come to a marriageable age. Isn't it? Which boy in your family has become of marriageable age? Acha. You know very well, Moon. You know very well. You should have taken your kara, your hand, and using your kara, you should have taken his kara and placed it in our kara. We are same jati. We are belonging to the same lineage, Gopa jati. Instead of that, you are using your kara, raise. Second meaning of kara is raise, and hiding him in the middle of the night. Moon, I curse you. You will not have any pratishtha in society. What is the meaning of pratishtha? Fame. Another meaning of the hidden meaning is stable position. The moon always keeps wandering. The moon never has any pratishtha in society. So the moon will always keep wandering. In this way, so sometimes a sarcastic dose is needed. And sometimes Rupa Goswami also gives a sarcastic dose, but it's very rarely. In the Ankeli Komudi, where there is an incident where Sri Krishna blocks the way of Sri Radha, and then he says, pay the tax. And then what tax? So that tax, he gives a very long samas. I will give that samas where he says, Dvijavasana Nama Dana Nama Vratam, where he says the tax is to pay cloth. I am taking a pay cloth to many Dvijas. So the hidden meaning is Dvija also means teeth, and Vasana means the lips which cover the teeth. So you should give me those particular lips as the tax. He is a very hidden mean, crooked person. So Sri Radha says, Bhujanga Nakula Strinam. Bhujanga means a person who is a ruffian. Na should never, Kula Strinam, should never touch a lady from a proper lineage. She is referring to herself. Another meaning, Bhujanga, snake, should never mess with Nakula Strinam, a mongoose lady. I hope you are able to. Because the day a snake messes with a mongoose, that's the final day of his life. So, so that is Sri Rupa Goswami also sometimes adds a little spice, but spice is more prominent on our side of the country. Sri Rupa Goswami's sweetness is so much that he doesn't want Krishna also to be hurt sometimes. But we don't care so much about that. Add as much spice as you want. So that is.
He has written first ever commentary in India on the Hari Sri
Bhakti Rasa. Yeah. So first volume is in Hindi available.
Hindi, English also.
English is coming up, but Hindi first volume of Sri Hari Suri's Bhakti Rasayam. That's the first 7 chapters of the 10th canto. And many of the reasons, like in Damodar Leela, the milk starts boiling because the milk was thinking, I will commit suicide. So this reason came originally from his commentary, Sri Hari Suri's commentary.
This is also in Gopal Shankar.
No. It is in the translation, it was given by Sri Vanamali Das Shastri, who translated Gopal Champu. But that he had read Sri Hari Suri's Bhakti Rasayanam, that's where he gave it in his Hindi translation. From that Hindi translation, it boiled down into the English translations. But originally that realization has come from Sri Hari Suri.
Yeah, Guru Maharaj like that.
Yeah. So,
Like you said, before Rupa Goswami went to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was inspired. So the Lalit Madhav and
Vidagdha Madhav.
It also says that it was like he started writing before, and then when he was like with Mahaprabhu, then like few shloks he was linked, but it was not, and after that he compiled it.
Yeah. So in Natak Chandrika, which was written before he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the examples that he is giving are from Lalit Madhav and Vidagdha Madhav. So it means that he was already composing Lalit Madhav and Vidagdha Madhav before he met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but after he met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he worked upon it even more, and the Nandi Shlok is Mangalacharan. Nandi Shlok he composed after meeting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has recited the Nandi Shlok, and then he recited many verses. One of them, Tunde Tandavini Ratim Vitanute Tundavali Labdhaye Karna Kroda Kadambini Ghatayate Karnarbudebhya Spriham Cheta Prangana Sangini Vijayate Sarvendriyanam Kritim No Jane Janita Kiyat Biramritai Shri Krishneti Varna Dvai. Very sweet verse. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I never heard such a verse in my entire life. Glorification. Do you know the translation? No? Right. I'll give a shot. Prabhu, how much time do we have? How much time do we have?
All the time.
All the time in the world, huh?
Not 1 second longer.
1 second longer.
Before Goswami met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then also got the inspiration by Radharani.
Yeah.
He was going to make one book.
Book, yeah.
And then it became
Two books. Because in Orissa, he got darshan also of Satyabhama Devi.
Satyabhama.
And then he decided to make 2 separate parts, Lalit Madhav and Vidagdha Madhav. So that happened in Orissa when he got that darshan. That happened later, but he had in his mind 2 books, Lalit and Vidagdha Madhav, but he separated the contents later. And Nandi Shlok, Tunde Tandavini Ratim Vitanute. I'll explain this verse. It's a very, very sweet glorification of Sri Krishna. Although we have heard many times, but I'll try to explain it today in some detail. The final line gives the detail, Krishneti Varna Dvai. Varna Dvai means, Sri Rupa Goswami could have written Varna Dvayah, 2 syllables. What are the 2 syllables? Can anybody tell me? Krish, Na. So Krish and Na are the two syllables. Varna Dvaya would have made it masculine, but Rupa Goswami says Varna Dvayi, feminine. The lady, which consists of two syllables, and that lady is Varna Dvayi. Now here the characteristics of this lady. Tunde Tandavini Ratim. When this lady enters into the assembly hall of the mouth, lady is called as Stri. Stri means she who expands her domain. In Sanskrit, she is called as Stri. She who expands her domain is called as Stri. Tunde Tandavini Ratim. When this lady consisting of two syllables enters into the mouth, she starts dancing everywhere in the mouth. But who is there in the mouth to watch the dance? So there are 32 Dvijas, dear devotees. How many Dvijas? 32. Dvija means twice born. One meaning of Dvija is Brahmana. One meaning of Dvija is teeth. Teeth take birth how many times? Twice. So Danta Vipranda Dvija. Teeth are also known as what? Dvijas. In the assembly, if you have the full set, alright. So in an assembly of 32 Dvijas, she dances. And every dancer, after dancing nicely, they get paritoshik. Paritoshik means they get a reward. What is the reward she wants? Tundavali. Give me more dancing spaces. Give me more assembly halls to dance. She is expecting you to do prachar of Harinam. That's what she is expecting you to do. Karna Kroda, when she enters into the ear holes, Kadambini Ghatayate. Kadambini is a very special word. It is not properly translatable to English. Those who are from Bengal and Orissa, they will understand. Kadambi refers to Kadambi Shak, Kalmi Shak. Kalmi Shak in English is water spinach. So Kalmi Shak or Kadambi Shak, because in Bengal and Orissa, whatever green leafy vegetable grows, if it is not poisonous, they will cook and make it. That is the standard. So Kalmi Shak is, those who, how many know what is Kalmi Shak? Those who are from Orissa, Bengal, they will know what is Kalmi Shak. So water spinach, it grows so rapidly, it takes up all the area that it grows in. Karna Kroda, when it enters into the ear hole, she becomes Kadambi Shak, and she takes over the ear. And what does Kalmi Shak or what does Kadambi Shak want? What does that Shak desire? More space for further expansion. Karnar Budebhyas Priyam, give me millions of more years because I want to grow rapidly like Kadambi Shak. Chetah Prangana, finally when this lady enters into the courtyard of the heart, Sangini, she becomes the wife. Sangini means wife, life partner. So first time when the wife enters the home, there is a ceremony. She kicks the tumbler of grains, and as soon as she enters, there is an indication that she is the new ruler of the home. So old rulers move out, all right. New ruler is here. So Chetah Prangana Sangini Vijayate, she takes over Sarva Indriyanam Kritim, all the activities of the senses. Because mind is the controller of all the senses, she takes over the mind. In effect, she takes over all the senses. My goodness, no jane. I don't know what is the nature of this lady. Everywhere she goes, she is conquering and expanding. In the mouth, she is conquering and expanding. In the ear, she is conquering and expanding. In the heart, she is conquering and expanding. Janita Kiyat Bir Amrite, how many varieties of nectar went into producing this two-syllable lady? And what are the two syllables? Krish and that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu words, I never heard such a verse in my life before. Glorifying Harinam. So that is the, I hope, the Lalit Madhavi, very nice dramas. Right?
Regarding this Bahullas, just you stated that from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that we have Adikta of towards Srimati Radharani. So that Sthai Bhav is towards Sri Krishna, that is Madhuri, but indirectly related through Srimati Radharani.
See, in the commentary, I will read the commentary. Evam Madhura, Sri Jiva Goswami's commentary on that Bhavollas Rati verse. So let's get it straight from the mouth of Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhupada. Evam Madhurakhe Rasetu, especially in which rasa? Madhure rasa. Now this detail is being got out, which I did not bring out while I was speaking the verse. But Sri Jiva Goswami is saying, Evam Madhurakhe Rasetu, sa, that rati, Kvachit Krishna Vishaya api ratya adhika. is more than Krishna Rati. So he is indicating one thing. Krishna Rati is there. I hope you are able to understand. Not even half a syllable is meaningless. So Krishna Ratya api, Krishna Vishaya api Ratya Adhika, which means there is Krishna Vishaya Rati. There is some attachment to Sri Krishna in which ras? Madhurya ras, which means
So it is better if you start Surudam, Swabhishta Asridam.
okay.
Surudam, Swabhishta
हाँ,
Rasashraya.
सुहृदाम निजाभीष्ट रसाश्रय भक्ति विशेषे श्री राधिकादौ विषये सजातीय भाव भक्तानां परस्परम रत्या विषयाश्रय रूपाणां ललितादीनां सखी मुख्यानां एकतराश्रय या रति सा यदि कृष्ण विषया रत्या समा स्यात् ऊना वा स्यात् तदा कृष्ण विषया रते संचाराख्या एव भाव स्यात्. So what Sri Jiva Goswami is saying, सुहृद सुहृदाम निज अभीष्ट रसाश्रये भक्त विशेषे श्री राधिकादौ विषये सजातीय भक्त भावानां परस्परम रत्या विषयाश्रय रूपाणां ललितादीनां सखी मुख्यानां एकतराश्रया या रति. So that rati which is directed towards Sri Radhika, Sri Lalita, Sri Vishakha, etc., that attachment, sa yadi Krishna Vishaya rati sama syad una va syat, if that attachment is similar in degree to the attachment towards Krishna or lesser in degree towards Krishna, then sanchari akhya eva bhava, then that becomes known as which bhava? Sanchari bhava, transitory emotion. Sri Jiva Goswami is very clear. Tan moolatvat tat poshanachya, because Krishna Rati is the base and it is nourishing that sanchari bhava. I hope you are able to understand. Evam madhurakhe rasetu, but in madhurya ras, sa rati, if that attachment, yadi kvachit Krishna vishayaya api ratya adhika, if there arises a situation, a case where that rati has become greater, on one side we have less than equal to, I hope you are able to understand, on one side we have less than and equal to. So equal to possibility has also been taken on this side, and that equal to possibility also is included, is called as which bhav? Sanchari bhav. So we don't have any doubts about when it is equal to. Equal to is also on that side, Sanchari bhav. But when it becomes greater than Krishna Vishayaya Rati, then it becomes Pushyamana Santata Abhiniveshena, constant abhinivesh, constant in constant absorption in that particular rati. Samvardhyamana syat, then it starts growing more and more. Tada sancharitvepi vishishtyapeksha, then it is something special, distinct from sanchari. And bhavollasa akhyo bhava iryate. Therefore, then it becomes known as a separate bhav. And what is that? Bhava ullas, separate emotion.
Previous one which you were reading.
That is same. I just read a few sentences before. Maharaj requested I read a few sentences before that. So I included that. So when it less than and equal to possibility is covered under Sanchari Bhav, greater than, and greater than means Sri Jiva Goswami says Samvardhyamana. Samvardhyamana is Shanach Pratyay. Shanach means continuous present. It is constantly increasing. Shatru Shanach Pratyay are for present tense which is constantly going on. So Samvardhyamana is that which is constantly going on increasing. That becomes known as Bhavollas Rati.
That is Saiva.
So probably towards Srimati Radharani or any of the Radha associate, if that is greater degrees there. So what is the relation between that us and Srimati Radharani and then towards Sri Krishna? How
Dasya Rati towards Sri Radha?
Dasya Rati.
One very clearly towards Sri Krishna Madhura Rati, towards Sri Radha which Rati? Dasya Rati. Because I have heard in Vrindavan there were many misconceptions being floated around. I am sorry, I will not take the name, but there was one individual from one of the Vrindavan families who is speaking Harikatha. He said, if we can have Madhurya Ras towards Sri Krishna, why can't we have towards? I will not complete the sentence. I don't want to even complete that sentence. I hope you are able to understand. That conception is unimaginable for us. I hope you are able to understand. Towards Sri Radha, we have one Rati only. Which Rati is that? Bas. Nothing more. Towards Sri Krishna, we have which Rati? Madhurarati. That is okay.
Like the Gauranavari.
Yeah. So we want to have that particular rati towards Sri Radha. Dasya rati is our aim, and that settles things for us, because we cannot be Krishna's competitor. I hope you are able to understand. And Sri Radha loves nobody else except for Sri Krishna. So this is what can be said. I hope that clarifies. ठीक है, चलो. Okay. Yes, Maharaj.
You mentioned a nice analogy between hearing Bhagavatam and the association of Arasi, and the fly will spoil,
Yeah.
give everyone. Okay? So, when we're hearing Bhagavatam, can you tell us how to be careful? So we hear a book Bhagavat is more powerful. I mean, the Bhakta Bhagavat is even more powerful than book Bhagavat.
Yeah.
So give us some guidelines how we can choose who we hear from, and what symptoms can we look for, so we avoid certain reciters or commentators of Bhagavatam.
First, the practice of sitting with learned people and hearing Bhagavatam is in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. When Sri Sanatan Goswami would recite Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhattacharya 20-30 laya, it is said in Chaitanya Charitamrita. He would take 20-30 learned pandits and sit and do a discourse on Srimad Bhagavatam. So we can, when we hear a pravachan or a talk on Srimad Bhagavatam, the book Bhagavat contains all the rasas, but the person Bhagavatam has the capability of bringing out the rasas in the sahriday, in the like-minded audience. Now, if we are sahriday and if the speaker is also an aspirant of the same mood, then they can churn that rasa very well and bring it out. And experience of those rasas is the direct proof of that. Sometimes we sit in an assembly where the speaker comes and starts speaking topics which are not related to the rasa of the Bhagavatam, something which is viras. Viras means from the Bhagavatam they start deriving topics of renunciation. So Bhagavatam says all of you should first get detached fully from material life. Did you hear? Material life is like a dark well and all of you are fallen there. Acha, theek hai. We heard all of that, huh? We know. But are you only going to speak the negatives? Where is the solution? So somebody who is speaking on the negatives but can't give a solution to us, because rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. Param.
Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said, we've talked so much about anartha and avriti, now we should speak
Artha pravritti. 100%. So, param kim drishtva nivartate? Param rasam drishtva avaram rasam nivartate. So, by hearing a higher rasa, the lower rasa will go away. But who will give us that higher bhakti rasa? So, that person who can churn bhakti rasa within our hearts, because speaking Srimad Bhagavatam is Shravya, it is through mode of hearing. Bhagavatam is not enacted on stage. Sometimes we do dramas, but mainly it is hearing. So the speaker should have the capability of first relishing it themselves, then churning it out in the hearts of others, and we should be sahriday. We should be like-minded to the speaker. How do we know if the speaker is pure? If the speaker has capability of experiencing rasa, which bhakti rasa, it means is already pure. We don't need any other guarantee, because Sri Rupa Goswami has said in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Vishayeshu garishtopi ragah prayo viliyate, that ratim udvatam janasya bhajane hare vishayeshu garishtopi ragah prayo viliyate, that even if little ruchi is there, even if little attachment to Sri Krishna is there, even the deepest of attachment to material life is washed away by this little bit of attachment towards Sri Krishna. Anybody who is considering Krishna as his own, Krishna is mine, who is speaking of Krishna in that way, who has mamatva, who has that feeling of belongingness towards Bhagavan, Krishna is mine, with that feeling somebody is speaking, or Sri Radha is my master, she is my, Adhishthatri. So one who is speaking with that mood, one who has belongingness to Bhagwan and Sri Radha, that person is very nice. That person is very nice, because you don't need to separately check if they have gotten rid of their material. To be able to reach that point, they must have already crossed over. Te pusta puste juhu sasnurarya brahmanuchur nama grinanti. They have already performed all the austerities in previous lives, bathed in all the holy rivers. Now that they are in this life, they are able to chant Bhagwan's Naam with love and affection. This is Srimad Bhagavatam 3:33-7. Mother Devahuti says, Aho bata shvapachoto gariyan yajjihvagre vartate nama tubhyam te pusta puste juhvu sasnurarya brahmanuchur nama grinanti yete. Aho, wonderful, shvapacho, that dog eater is glorious. If he is chanting your Naam with love and affection, he must have done everything in previous lives. Oh, how did he become a dog eater then in this life? Because in doing so many Vedic activities, even if little mistake is there, it gives severe negative result. Like Yathendra Shatru Swarito Paradhat, like speaking Indra Shatru, that he was speaking, Vishwarup was speaking Indra Shatru, instead of Tatpurush Samas it became Bahuvrihi Samas. And because of that, Indra killed Vritrasur instead of Vritrasur killing Indra. So he must have performed many Vedic activities in the past. There is possibility of making small mistake, due to which he might have received this result, but end mature result is now able to chant your name with love. So he has already crossed all of that unearth and everything. So that is proof of pudding is in the eating. That is what I would like to say. That experience will be there. All right. ठीक है. Prabhu, you tell me when to stop. You please, Prabhu ji, Brajnath Prabhu, you tell me when to stop. I am happy answering all the queries. You tell me when.
Very happy with
You
it
ask
tomorrow.
you can ask Brinda.
Yeah.
I'm just more. Do you have more programs today?
Not right now, but I'm enthused by answering questions. So the problem will not be from my side, but all of you may have some engagements. Oh yes, yes. So those of you who have to go, please feel free, and those of you who are like me, you sit here and listen to Q&A.
Yes,
Those commentators equal Bhakti Ras Swasanchariva. They haven't tasted pizza.
Yeah, they haven't tasted. Because Abhinav Gupta, for him bhakti is of Shiv. It's a very different philosophy, and it's completely it is monism. So that Kashmir Shaivism has no scope for variety in bhakti ras. But Abhinav Gupta was the commentator on Natya Shastram, so he is the one who gave those opinions that bhakti belongs to Shantaras. Bhakti should be put in the category of Shantaras, because that his achievable goal is to become Shiva himself. And what is Shiva? Shiva is not the person whom you see in the photograph. That is not Shiva in Kashmir Shaivism. Shiva is the unmanifested, and it's like Shiva is like the egg of the peacock. That is the analogy they give. If you break open the egg of a peacock, you will see transparent liquid. So Shiva is that transparent liquid within the egg of the peacock. But when that egg matures, it turns into all the different colors. So this material world is nothing but spandana, vibrations produced from Shiva, who is ultimately impersonal, like the transparent egg yolk of the peacock. So that is it is not favorable to the Vaishnavas.
I still remember last year when you came to Vrindavan and you were giving lecture on Rasa. Your video is the highest, longest video of question answers in ISKCON Vrindavan YouTube channel. It's for 2 hours 45 minutes. No other lecture is there. For 1 hour and 1 hour 15 minutes last, and it's a 2 hour 45 minutes.
These days also it is like that.
Yeah, and it was like anyone asked any question, you were having a screen. So if before completing the question, you show the shlok. Yeah, this is answer.
That is good night intelligent.
I'm happy that.
But the background of Madhava philosophy, the
Yeah, yeah.
lecture length is much more. I think 3 hours or something.
Yeah. 9 pillars of
Nine.
Sri Madhvacharya's.
Amazing.
Because my question is, first of all, like you said about the Shanta Ras, like what's the difference, basic difference between Shanta and Dasya? Because as we see Prahlad Maharaj, so I can't see any difference between Dasya and Shanta in that sense, and how like you said the Rati, then how the Shanta Rati helps in Madhurya Rasa. So like, is there any example about that, like how it's?
Shanta is not with the bhaktas. Shanta is with those who are Brahmavadi, Paramatmavadis. In Chaitanya Charitamrita it is said, Chari Bhava Bhakti Diya Nachamo Bhuvan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I will give 4 bhavas, not 5. Which bhav has he excluded? Otherwise our names would have started with Hari Parshad Shant. That is not our name. Our name starts with Hari Parshad Das. The beginning of all the names is Dasyarati.
Shanta is also saintly person.
Yeah, but saintly in the sense of that impersonalist. That is the Shanta. So, Shanta is excluded from the Sampradaya.
Okay.
It's excluded. It's not given in the Sampradaya. Why? Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Shantera Svabhava Krishne Mamata Gandha Hina Parabrahma Paramatma Jnana Pravina. Shantera Svabhava Krishne Mamata Gandha Hina. It is the nature of Shantaras that not even the slight feeling of belongingness towards Krishna exists in Shantaras. I will observe from a distance and experience the bliss from within myself. Bhagavan performed one pastime, I will write 100 realizations by watching from a distance. I hope you are able to know. This is Vicharas. I don't want to get personally involved because the fun of watching from a distance and not getting involved, fun of considering oneself as Bhagavan or oneself as Brahma is much greater than getting into personal relationships.
Why we appreciate Prahlad Maharaj so much, like
Dasyarati.
Dasya. So many, maybe I'm wrong that they say that Prahlad Maharaj is in the mood of Shanta. Dasya.
Nava Yogendras, Shantarati. I hope 4 Kumaras before, they were previously impersonal. So that is. I hope that answers your question. Okay. ठीक है. Maharaj, would you like to say something? Anumodan.
You continue.
Please, more.
Yeah. Yes.
You have just said that the 4 Kumars were Shantarati, and then they associated with Narayan and Dasarati. Sometimes we hear from Vaishnavas that Sthai Bhav is inherent. Like every jiva has particular Sthai Bhav. Sometimes we hear the jivas have no Sthai Bhav, depending on their association. This will then develop into a particular Sthai Bhav. With other association, maybe the Sthai Bhav will change.
So that's a very big topic, but I'll try to summarize both sides so that there are merits in understanding both sides, and let's see both sides from a neutral perspective without taking sides with anything right now, because our job is to see both sides as Vaishnavas. We don't start with taking a side and then arrive at a Siddhanta. First we should neutrally observe both sides and see what are the pros and cons of both sides. Some Vaishnavas say that Sthai Bhav is inherent within the every living entity, Swarup of the living entity, which means the living entity has a Sthai Bhav already since Anadikal, since beginningless time. The benefit of accepting this side is that all living entities become equal. I hope you are able to understand. All living entities become equal in the sense everybody has a Sthai Bhav within their heart. You just have to develop it and that's it. You are on your way. You don't need any you don't need to be gifted because you already have it. You don't need it to be gifted from an external source, you already have it. So Shravan Adi Shuddha Chitte Karaya Uday. That is what remains. Just do Shravan Kirtan, purify your heart, it will automatically sprout. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur Mahashay, they gave this part in many explanations of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, that it is inherent within the heart of the living entity. Now, our acharyas have given it, but at the same time we should also see that are there some potential points which can be problematized and used against this position. So let us see that also. Problem arises that if there is already an eternally fixed, then why are we doing Krishna Bhakti? I hope you are able to understand. Because if there is already a bhav since time immemorial, or since beginningless time, how did it become covered by Mahamaya? I hope you are able to understand. Then
It wasn't manifest.
It wasn't manifest, so it was always unmanifest.
The potential.
So then you have to come to the position that there is a potential sthayi bhav, there is a container for everybody within everybody's heart.
The seed is also not there.
You see, when we
The field is there, but the seed is not there.
see when we use these terms, we are limiting with every term that we use. Therefore, I use the term container. I hope you are able to understand, because different analogies can lead to different problems. If the field is there, who gives the seed? I hope you are able to understand. Then somebody will say the seed is already there. The container is already there with each and every jiva. In that way, potential. All the jivas are equal. And based on the sadhu sangha that a particular devotee does, in sajatiya sadhu sangha, a devotee receives, then there is meaning of doing Krishna Bhakti. Otherwise, if my eternal is Narayan Vaikuntha Bhakti, what am I doing in ISKCON? That question arises. International Society for
Krishna.
No, Krishna consciousness. Why am I trying to change it then? I hope you are able to understand. Another example, Sri Rupa Sanatana Goswami, they came to Anupam Goswami and said, we will give you the Diksha in Krishna Mantra. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to Sri Murari Gupta and saying, Krishna Mantra is, very sweet. Krishna Nam is very sweet. Why even make the attempt? So the attempts are being made because the potential container is there within everybody's heart. But depending on the adrishya, the previous sadhu sangha and the current sadhu sangha, then it happens. Now I will not speak without a praman. That praman is there. That praman should be spoken. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu there is a verse. Who experiences Bhakti Ras? So that verse is there, Maharaj must be knowing. Praktani adhuniki chaiva. Yes. Yeah. Praktani adhuniki chaiva. Yasya sad bhakti vasana. Esha bhakti rasasvadas tasyaiva hridi jayate. Praktani means from previous lives if you have some bhakti vasana, some flavor of bhakti, and in this life that is nourished, then that rasa is experienced by that individual. So Sri Rupa Goswami there could have said that anadi, but there he does not say anadi. Praktani and adhuniki. So he says that from previous few lifetimes and in this lifetime if you nourish it, bhakti vasana, then that bhakti ras becomes manifest in the heart of that individual. So we are neutral. We don't want to go against our own acharya. We don't want to say what Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur Mahasaya said, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada said. The conclusion of their thought is that the container is there in everybody's heart. This can solve everything without creating any conflicts. On the other side, if we say it is only gifted, I hope you are able to understand, it is only inherited, then the problem arises where the jiva is not created equal.
Because some get chanta and some get madhurya from
Anadi. Some got it since immemorial time and some had nothing, absolutely nothing. So problem is, if it is only gifted, then the problem arises, why is it gifted, why is it present since time immemorial only with certain individuals, why not with somebody else? There are pros and cons of both because we are looking into the window of Anadi. Any side we take can be problematized here. This is the issue with Anadi. The issue with Anadi is that no matter which side you take.
This here, always the problems are available.
Yeah. The problem with looking into the window of Anadi, beginningless time, is that any position you take can be turned into a potential problem and used against you. And our acharyas gave us the truth, and our acharyas gave us the highest truth. And we never want to say that our acharyas compromise something. But Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in the 15th chapter of Jaiva Dharma that acharyas sometimes present tatkalik. Tatkalik means what individuals can understand according to their capacity. When a certain student enters into a mathematics class, just senior KG, junior KG class, they cannot be told calculus. They cannot be told university level mathematics. It doesn't mean that the teacher doesn't know. The teacher knows university level mathematics. But the teacher is giving a certain understanding to make it easy for the newcomer to digest. What people sometimes assume is that the teacher did not know. So that is not the case. Because that is avagya. That we are saying that our Gurujanas did not know about this. It's not that. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur had read the entire 6 Sandarbhas and he was quoting all the Sandarbhas in his books. How can Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur not know? He knows. But a certain understanding is presented according to Patra. Patra means according to the receiver. That's all. Nothing else. So,
Sandarbhas also creating problem. Because Jiva was saying clearly speaking.
Vargadvayam.
Yeah. Vargadvayam and in Paramatma Sandarbha, Priti Sandarbha, Bhagavad Sandarbha, there is Toyeva not to Jivesa.
So, Sri Jiva Goswami is saying in Paramatma Sandarbha there are eternally 2 categories of living entities. One who are eternally inclined towards Bhagwan, one who are eternally disinclined towards Bhagwan. Question arises why? So he answers on one level. Because the first category has eternal knowledge of Bhagwan and the second category has eternal ignorance of Bhagwan. Again question arises. Why? Let's say you answer that question. Then again another question will arise. Why? And because the reason why will arise on every level is because you are looking into the window of Anadi, beginningless time. And therefore, you can go on problematizing even the statements given in the Sandarbhas to any number of extent. So there was a commentator, Bangla commentator, Sri Radha Govindanath. He said, there is no point of asking beyond one why. Don't ask the second why. So that is what he said. No point beyond asking one level of why. Sri Jiva Goswami answered. Because one category of Jivas have eternal knowledge of Bhagwan, one category of Jivas eternal ignorance of Bhagwan. Now if you keep asking why, so then you can keep going on problematizing the situation to n number of levels.
Then God becomes why.
God becomes why. So Sri Radha Govindanath says in his Jiva Tattva article, beyond one level, it's meaningless to ask the question because you cannot look into the window of Anadi Kal and find definite answers. That is where we have to pause. That is where we enter into the domain of Achintya. And that Achintya, let it have some space in our philosophy. Otherwise, if we make everything Chintya, then what is the point of calling philosophy Achintya?
That's why release both sides, but release the sweetness of Acharya.
Yeah. But let some things remain for the future. Don't try to solve the entire mystery. Achintya khalu ye bhava natam starkena yojayat. So
Sthai is then fixed or not?
Because in the starting the Sthai bhav is the fixed bhav.
So the only examples of changing on bhav in material world are seen in the case of those who are Shantarati Jivan Muktas. What is Jivan Muktas? Jivan Muktas are those who are liberated in this life, but final emancipation is yet to occur. So examples are Sri Shukadev.
There is a certain level, but they are
not yet merged into.
Yeah.
So as long as they have not yet attained Videha Mukti, final emancipation, till that time a Shantarati Bhakta still has time to change. Let's say even in the case of a Gaudiya Vaishnava, somebody may be practicing sadhana of a particular ras. Another strong Vaishnava influence comes, changes. Before prema is attained, there is a chance of, after prema is attained, your container is filled with a particular rasa, then there is no more chance. I hope that would-
So in the case of Gopkumar and Srimad Bhagavatamrita, it looks like he is so determined, and it looks like it's from his birth. He's born in Govardhan, so that means that he had attained sadhu sangha in his previous lives, and this carries on with this certain mood that has been nourished his heart already.
Right. Sri Krishna says to him, many previous lives I tried, I failed. So the efforts were going on. Finally, Sri Krishna says, I personally had to intervene. I had to break my own laws. I usually don't break my own laws, but because I am Bhagwan, I can make an exception to my own rule, and I broke my own law, and I appeared as your Guru, Jayant. There I gave you the final shiksha, and that is where it was perfected. But Sri Krishna said, like a fool, I was waiting for many lives that you will turn your face towards me. I tried many things. Bhagwan said, I tried many things to bring you somehow or other to make you incline towards me, but it did not work. So the efforts were going on, but finally Bhagwan manifested as Jayanta and put that final effort, Praktani Aduniki Chaiva, Yasya Sadbhakti, from previous lives and this life. Finally, when Sri Krishna came as Jayanta, his Guru, then Sri Gopkumar, got that experience of Bhakti Ras, Madan Gopal as his Ishtadev, and then he progressed Krama Mukti, gradually one by one he is progressing. Yes.
What about Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati and Radharasa Sirunidhi? We know Prabodhananda Saraswati is Tanga Vidya, Saki. And in Radharasa Sirunidhi, he's explaining by Radharani's root, and she developed Manjari Bhav in that. So we see how, my comment on how we see that Rati of Prabodhananda Saraswati, Saki Ras, became, then we saw Bahulas.
Yeah. So, first and foremost, Sri Radha Sudha Nidhi, that literature, I should be very honest and say that there is some debate over whether who's the author of the literature. This I should mention very honestly, because the debate has gone to such an extent that there is a court case which has happened over it. I should tell you what are the honest facts. There is a court case which took place because there is, on one side there is the claim that Sri Hit Harivamsh wrote Radha Rasudha Nidhi. On the other side there is the claim that Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati wrote Sri Radha Rasudha Nidhi, and it is a matter of embarrassment that the court had to settle, because it is an embarrassment to Vaishnavas, frankly speaking, because the High Court judge who doesn't know Ra of Radha Rasudha Nidhi is going to say whether Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati wrote it or Sri Hit Harivamsh wrote it.
Kali Yuga.
Yeah, Kali Yuga. So High Court magistrate will decide. And
Maybe he'll become a Vaishnava.
Maybe he will. Assuming that it was written by Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati, that mood of occasionally showing Manjari Bhav is not the permanent theme of the literature. Sometimes some sanchari, as a sanchari, it may rise up and it may go down, but it is not seen as a permanent emotion within the Radha Rasudha Nidhi. So one reason I usually don't speak from that particular literature. It is very respectable, very nice, but because when I asked my own Guru Maharaj, he said that I don't see much of a Gaudiya Vaishnava imprint in many of the verses of that literature, although it is very nice, but the followers of Sri Hit Harivamsh Sampradaya, their imprint is prominently seen in many of the verses of that particular literature. We have so many literature, why quarrel over it? If there is some verse in that which is favorable to our Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta, we can quote it and say this is this is Sri Radha Sudanidhi. But usually there is greater imprint of the philosophy of Sri Harivam Sampradaya in that literature, and from what I know, the court also had decided in their favor, from what I have been told. So there some research needs to be done, but the court also examined the facts, and there are commentaries on Radha Sudanidhi from Harivam Sampradaya which are very elaborate Sanskrit commentaries. There is a Sanskrit commentary called as Ras Kulya and Ras Kalash. There are two commentaries which are very elaborate commentaries on Radha Sudanidhi. In contrast, there are practically no Gaudiya Vaishnava Sanskrit commentaries on Radha Sudanidhi. So that complicates things a bit more. So therefore, I don't practically get into that. And so Stavavali, Stavmala, so many things are there, and there's so much beauty in those. So better not to get into a conflicted zone. So that is what I like to say.
Other acharyas don't refer to
Acharyas don't Acharyas don't refer to it. So later acharyas who came after Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati don't refer to it so much.
Some verses they recite, but they don't.
I'm not even sure if Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur ever mentions it. I have never seen Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur mentioning it.
In Jayata Dharma,
No mention it. So, there is a safe indication that mostly it is not coming from our Sampradaya, but still the feelings are, any Vaishnava may have written, if the feelings are aligned with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we can consider it acceptable. So that's it.
And Vrindavan Mahiman.
Vrindavan Mahimamrita is by Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati, that is clear. But Sri Vrindavan Mahimamrita has some atishayoktis, overstatements. I will steal and stay in Vrindavan. I will, some statements like that. If needed, I will steal from others, rob others and stay in Vrindavan.
Chandamrit also
It's like so some atishayoktis, the figures of speech are used in such a way to the final point is not to steal. The final point is to stay in Vrindavan. Sometimes the poet uses a figure of speech called as atishayokti, an over exaggeration in order to emphasize a certain point. People think that the poet is speaking the literal truth, that steal and stay in Vrindavan.
This is the license of the poet.
License of the so that is not what is being spoken of here.
Sri Madhavendra Puri is Kadam Vriksha in Golok Vrindavan.
Yeah.
So it is Shantarati or what?
No, he is not simply a Kalpavriksha, he is a Kalpavriksha who produces fruits of all rasas. So that is his identity. So he is a Kalpavriksha who produces fruits of all the rasas. I tried to check if it is a metaphor or if he is actually a Kalpavriksha. Because sometimes people say it's a metaphor, that it is not that he is like a Kalpavriksha. No. Radha Krishna Ganodesh Gaur Ganodesh Deepika says that he is actually a Kalpavriksha.
No, but who?
Sri Madhavendra Puri.
Madhavendra Puri.
Sri Madhavendra Puri. It's not that it's a metaphor, because some time ago I used to think that maybe it's used in a metaphorical sense, that he's like a Kalpavriksha.
He is.
But when I checked actually in Gaur Ganodesh Deepika, I found he actually is a Kalpavriksha, but the specialty is Pancha Bhakti Ras, all the 5 Bhakti Rasa fruits he has the capability of producing, which means that this Kalpavriksha has the capability of experiencing all the rasas. Also from the writings of Sri Madhavendra Puri, Mathura Nath Kadavalokya se Hridayam Padaloka Kataram. So that is clearly suggesting Madhurya Ras.
At the same time, he is the Ankur, the root of the tree of Chaitanya.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Only that's where the Bhakti Rasa
is
emanated from.
Yes. So Bhakti Ras as a concept has existed since immemorial, Anadikal. We cannot say that it began at a certain point, otherwise we'll have a philosophical problem.
It started to blossom.
It started blossoming after Sri Madhavendra.
So that Nitya Siddhi Krishna Priya. So I'm speaking my understanding that potential container is with everyone, and according to the sadhu sangha, that bhakti is gifted.
So there are two understandings of that verse, and I am speaking both understandings here. Please hear carefully. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabu Nai. One meaning is Krishna Prema is Nitya Siddha within your heart. That is the understanding given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. That is the understanding. Another understanding given by Sri Mukunda Goswami, who was disciple of Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Nitya Siddhasya Krishna Prema. I hope you are able to understand. Nitya Siddhasya, the Krishna Prema of a Nitya Siddha associate. That is the second meaning. The first meaning is Krishna Prema is Nitya Siddha. Second meaning is Krishna Prema belongs to a Nitya Siddha. There are two meanings of that particular. Nitya Siddhasya Bhavasya Prakatyam Hridi Sadhyata. That is the origin of that. So Nitya Siddhasya Bhaktasya Bhavasya, or Nitya Siddha becomes an adjective of the Bhava. There are two, and both are justified by grammar. So both sides are there. That the Bhakta who is Nitya Siddha, he gifts it, that is inherited, and that Bhava itself is Nitya Siddha, it is inherent. Both possibilities are there in that very verse. But the middle ground is that every jiva has a container. And somebody who says it is only gifted, they are also wrong, because in some cases Krishna directly can give it. Krishna directly can give it. Example is in the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. There is that disciple of Vasishtha, Prishadra. Prishadra gets cursed by his guru because he accidentally kills a cow instead of killing the tiger. Prishadra gives him a curse, Vasishtha gives him a curse, he goes to the forest, performs bhakti yoga, perfects his life without the blessings of the guru. And as an exception, that is not the general rule, that is the exception. General rule is guru gives, exception is Krishna gives. Therefore in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Anyabhilashita Shunyam commentary, Sacha Krishna Tad Bhakta Kripayaika Labhyam, that bhakti is available either by Krishna's direct mercy or Krishna's devotee's direct mercy. Now, what is the general case? Is it by Krishna's direct mercy or by the devotee's direct mercy? Devotees. But then exception can be there.
So even Chaitanya Charya Guru Krishna Kripa
So exceptionally, but this doesn't mean that we will get it directly from Krishna. Generally it is through the mercy of Guru. We should be general case. That is what I have been told by my Guru Jana. Srimati Gaur Govind Maharaj used to say, exception should not be turned into rule. This is that we should not do. Yes. Alright?
In case.
Please, Mataji.
Okay, but I feel a little shy to ask this question. You were speaking about Radha Rani alone on the altar, and you were speaking just now about Hit Harivams. So, in our philosophy, we are Jiva Swarupa Hare Krishna Nityadas, we are eternal servants of Krishna. So, he's in general our Vishai. And I heard one time in a lecture that another Sampradaya, or so-called Sampradaya in Vrindavan, they have Radharani as their Vishai.
Sure.
Can you share something about that?
In other Sampradayas, they might have made Sri Radha the central point of their, but they don't have a theology of Bhakti Ras that we have. Frankly speaking, if you make Sri Radha as the center of Bhakti Ras, then you need to have a manual, a textbook, which explains and which gives examples of devotees who are interacting with her in that particular ras. Let's say it comes to Madhurya Ras. Who is the only person who is enjoying Madhurya Ras with Sri Radha? That is Sri Krishna alone. But then it means that Madhurya Ras is completely cut off in the case of Sri Radha. You cannot, no jiva can have that particular relationship. Then your textbook immediately becomes handicapped. So you cannot have a manual. Therefore, Akhila Rasamrita Murti can only be one person, Sri Krishna. That there is no doubt about it. That the genius of Sri Rupa Goswami is in that manual, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And in the very first word is the genius, Akhila Rasamrita Murti, because that position cannot even be taken by Sri Radha. So Sri Radha, a jiva cannot have, cannot have interactions in all the rasas with Sri Radha. That is not possible. That is possible only with Sri Krishna. So people may claim anything, but you need a solid philosophical manual to back it up and then to give pramanas from Shastra and to then justify all of it. When that is not there, then Shruti, Smriti, Purana, Adi, Pancharatra, Vidhim Vina, Aikantiki, no matter how one-pointed it seems, later it may create utpat. It may create some disturbance on individual level or social level, and the effects of that may be seen. You know, when people they say I have a relation with Sri Radha, why do I care for Sri Krishna? So, Hare Baba, why don't you care for Sri Krishna? You suddenly remove Sri Krishna from the picture. You know? So that, even in Bhavollas Rati, there is
Krishna, no?
Krishna Rati is
Definitely.
there. Madhurya Rati towards Krishna is there.
Without Krishna, no Bhavollas.
Without Krishna Rati, we cannot have Bhavollas Rati.
Who you will bring to Radharani?
Huh?
Who will you bring to
Yeah.
How will you do that?
Every Shakti and Shaktiman concept, everything will go.
Go
na?
na.
The-
So
the
even in
Vedanta,
Vedantic concepts will suddenly.
So you are like completely up Sampradaya then.
हाँ.
Because 4 Sampradaya accept this thing. So you are completely out.
So very Shaktiman in that whole picture. You removed Shaktiman, and without Shaktiman, what will Shakti do alone?
Yeah.
That is impersonal Brahman.
So Shakti without Shaktiman, you just worshipping Shakti alone without Shaktimat, then your philosophy will be called as what? That we cannot accept. There are philosophical problems, but there are people on the other, because I don't want to offend any, because there are people who genuinely follow that sampradaya, and I don't want to say anything. But all I'm saying is there is no equivalent of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu in any sampradaya. This we can all agree upon. There is no equivalent of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu in any others. I am not a sectarian person. People dedicate their lives to sampradaya, they follow that diligently. I would like to respect that because I don't want to insult anybody's intelligence, but at least there is no literature in comparison to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. You have to give a definition of bhakti like Anyabhilashita Shunyam. You will never find a definition like Anyabhilashita Shunyam. And when you don't have that, then one should naturally accept that Sri Rupa Goswami understood it. That's it. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Rupa Goswami were the ones who gave that darshan, that vision. That for our conviction, that is all right. Yeah.
Just one question was like, from many times it was coming into me regarding Uddhav ji. I heard many misconceptions about it, and I couldn't get the clarity on that. Like some says that like Uddhav ji was a Gyan Bhakta, and after that then he chose the Bhakti, and then Dasya and Sakhya Bhav, he's like that Rati, he's with Krishna. Now they says that like when he came to Braj, then he was having the desire for being in the bushes and there. So then they say that now he's a Shanteva, is a Shant. So now like the understanding about the Shanteva which I get now, so like how can it be possible? Because in Goloka the trees must be also like, must be also not having the Shant, I mean they must be having Madhuryas or something like that. How can that Shanteva be existing?
Right.
And
so Sri Uddhava's is called as Sankula Rati. The exact term used for Sri Uddhav is Sankula Rati. Sankula Rati means he does not have Shuddha, means one Rati Dasya or one Rati Sakhya.
it's mixed.
It's a mixture of Dasya and Sakhya, which is called as Sankula. Opposite of Sankula is Shuddha. Some devotees have one pure, some devotees have a mixture of. Kevala. Kevala or Shuddha and Sankula.
Shanti can be mixed with anything. Shanti ras cannot be mixed with anything. That you said.
Secondly, Madhurya also doesn't mix. Madhurya doesn't mix.
Never mix.
Madhurya doesn't mix. Madhurya stays pure.
Yeah.
You can't be lover and friend.
Yeah.
So Madhurya doesn't mix. Yeah.
I've heard that all the rasas are within Madhurya.
Yeah. The essential elements of all the rasas are within Madhurya. But a particular devotee can't be a friend and a lover in the same identity. For example, if you have to be a friend of Krishna, you have to be in a masculine body. And if you have to be a lover, you have to be in a feminine body. Now in the same body, can you be a friend and a lover? So that is not possible in the same identity.
Even Baladev cannot do that.
Sri Baldev cannot. You will have to assume another identity, and there is facility for doing that. There's no doubt.
Gender change.
No. Multiple identities. Multiple identities. Not multiple personality within the same identity. Multiple personalities and multiple identities.
So we can't consider that Radharani is sometime showing friendship within her Madhurya?
Friendship towards whom? Friendship towards the other Sakhis. In Madhurya, towards Krishna, the elements of Sakhya are included.
Yes.
Element means
Sunshine.
the transitory emotions sometimes come, and the feeling of equality is included. The most essential of Sakhya Rasa is feeling of equality with the person whom you are friends with. That feeling of equality is there. But she will not say to Krishna, कि चलो let's go herd cows and I will wear a dhoti today. No, that she will not do, because she knows that her predominant emotion towards Krishna is that of Madhurya. Elements of Sakhya are included. Essential elements of Sakhya are included in Madhurya. Essential elements of Vatsalya are included in. But Sri Radha will never say, today I am your mother.
Right.
But essential elements of Vatsalya are included within Madhurya. So that
like
is
caring,
yeah,
nurturing.
Yeah. So that care and nurture is there. Cooking for Sri Krishna, all of that are there. But essential elements of every rasa are included in the subsequent higher rasa. So that is.
Going back to his question of Uddhava, he became a shrub. He wanted
Yeah.
to become a shrub.
So that aspiration is there. I want to become this, I want to become that. Based on that, you may have a place where you can say, you may have a place, Tirtha Stali, Uddhav. Here is where Uddhav is today present as a bush. Are Baba, but he is already an eternal associate of Sri Krishna. So those are, when some tirthas are developed, they may say this is where Uddhav spoke the message to the gopis, and this is where Uddhav is today as a shrub or as grass. But you don't have to take it literally. It's an expression of what Uddhav wanted to become. Let's just take it that way, alright? It's an expression of what Sri Uddhav wanted to become. You may pay obeisances, you can say, this is the place where he prayed to become a shrub. So the shrubs which are there in this place are blessed because they are representative of his prayers. You can put it that way. But you will not, this is Uddhav. Oh, no. So that will become a philosophical problem.
So no Shante Bhav or Shante Rasa in Uddhav. Only Dasya and Sakya Darshan and Sankula.
That is Sri Rupa Goswami's clear opinion. Yes, Sankula Rati, and that is our praman for that. But Sri Uddhav, when he went there and he spoke Brahma Gyan to all of them, that is because he learned from Brihaspati. But his mood towards Sri Krishna is Dasya and Sakhya. He will not show Brahma Gyan towards Sri Krishna. Towards the gopis, he gave those instructions because he thought towards these gopis, it is good to give this Brahma Gyan. You're not the body, you are the soul, this and that. So all that he gave to the gopis.
And like the four Kumars, there was also transition from Shante Bhav to this Sankularati in Uddhavji also.
What transition doesn't have? Sankula is already a mixture.
No. Like from
in four Kumaras, there was a complete change because they had not yet attained permanent mukti. I hope you are able to understand. But sometimes even after getting Dasya, some traces may remain because it's not in a single stroke, it's not wiped out completely. Alright? But some traces remain. Sri Shukadeva Goswami also, after he became attracted to Srimad Bhagavatam, you will find some traces of some impersonalism here and there sprinkled around. Although they explain it away, the commentators explain it away as personalism. But there are some traces where you can find that Sri Shukadeva Goswami is clearly speaking, from his previous inclinations.
He was a parent of Srimati Radhika.
No.
That's what he says.
No, he was not.
Okay.
So this,
That is in another compound.
I tried to find a praman for this, because it's important to find pramanas for everything that we speak. So in Anand Vrindavan Champu, there is a pastime where Sri Radha is feeding pomegranate seeds to her parrot, and she says Shuka, Lila Shuka. So he says Lila Shuka, oh play parrot. She then feeds and she says speak Krishna 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 Vada, speak Krishna Krishna. So from there, because that parrot is also called Shuka, Shuka is the general name of a parrot. So some people started thinking that he is Shukadeva Goswami.
But then they said he flew in the mouth of the wife of Vyasa.
So that was mentioned in a Sthala Puran. Sthala Puran is not one of the 18 Puranas, it's a local Puran in Orissa. There is a local folk tale in Orissa.
Okay.
So that is where it happened. It is not from one of the 18 Purana. Ekamra Puran is where it is mentioned. Some people may take it that it is bona fide, all right, but it is not in the main 18 Puranas. It is not to be found.
It's not in the Amnaya.
It's not in the Amnaya. So, and another thing, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada had a conversation with a scholar named Atmaram Shastri, where he said that there are only two origin stories of Sri Shukadeva Goswami. One origin story is where he took birth, from Sri Vyasadev's wife, and then there is another, but both of these stories don't mention him as being a parrot of Sri Radha. So he had this discussion with one scholar named Atmaram Shastri. It is recorded. One time I had quoted it. I'll try. I can also send that particular quotation. But this is what is about Sri Shukadeva Goswami, and this thought was given strength because in 1960s there was a Shankaracharya of Kashi, Swami Karpatri. He was explaining Ras Panchadhyayi because although he is a Shankaracharya, he liked to read Srimad Bhagavatam. In the Ras Panchadhyayi, the first is Shri Shuka Uvacha. So when Shri Shuka Uvacha, what is the meaning of Shri Shuka? So Swami Karpatri Swami is saying in 1960s, he said Shriyaha Shukaha. Shriyaha means he is Shri's parrot, he is Shri Radha's parrot. So like this. So Karpatri Swami in 1960s, he explained it in that way, Shriyaha Shukaha. So from that explanation, people started saying that idea got strength that Shukadeva Goswami is the parrot of Sri Radha, although none of the Gaudiya Vaishnavacharyas, they mention that in Gaur Ganodesh Deepika, Radha Krishna Ganodesh Deepika, you will not find a single mention of that. Therefore, it's a good thought. We don't reject it outright because some devotee has expressed it, but it doesn't find acceptance within the mainstream 6 Goswami literature. That is.
The Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada also had some like.
Srila Gaur Govind Maharaj said once that he is the parrot of. I know, I agree. See, he is also my Shiksha Guru. I understand this thing. Srila Gaur Govind Maharaj is my Shiksha Guru. He also said at one point of time that Shukadeva Goswami is Sri Radha's parrot. Many other Gaudiya Vaishnavas might have said, I agree. But it derives nourishment from the Sthal Puran, Ekamra Puran. That is what I am telling you. I hope you are able to understand. In the writings of the previous 6 Goswamis, you will not find that. I am not disrespecting my own Gurujanas as well.
Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada disagreed with that. I'm just saying.
Acha, he might be also sure, no problem. Srila Prabhupada said in one lecture, Prabhupada said there is no reason why two great personalities cannot differ with each other. I hope you are able to understand. If two people agree on everything at all points of time, you don't need two people. You need one person then. So that's why you have two people.
To disagree.
There's no problem in disagreements. Or people say because of one disagreement I am rejecting this person. That is wrong.
Yeah.
That is incorrect.
So one Prabhu in Rudrajaman.
Rudrayaman.
Leela Sukha Sri Vrishabhanujaya.
Yes.
From Rudrajaman.
Yeah. So that same thing is mentioned in Anand Vrindavan Champu that she is feeding, Leela Shuka. But at least I did not find any acceptance within the Goswami literature that he is parrot of Sri Radha, because then it raises some doubts that if he is parrot, how did he become a Brahmavadi?
That is another kalpa.
Yeah, another kalpa. But
That is what
we have. Yeah, sure. But there are loose ends to, every understanding that we are giving. Therefore, at least
Guru Maharaj would refer to that. Some kalpas he is like a Brahmavadi.
Yeah. Okay, so I respect all the understanding. I would say that I personally am on the side that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada said with Atmaram Shastri that there are only 2 origin stories of Srila Shukadeva Goswami. And it's okay if a disciple of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada might have given a different understanding. It's okay for a disciple to give a slightly different understanding from the Guru. Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan explains some verses completely different in the Gita from Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur.
Yeah.
It's okay. I have that mental capacity to digest opposites. But if somebody is not comfortable with that, then they should accept what their Guru says. That is my. That is my.
You mentioned a class where it's spoken that there's no harm when 2 acharyas differ.
Right.
Could you expand on that a little bit so that I can take it into my heart?
Oh, wonderful. So I will, because There is a verse in Laghu Bhagavatamritam, Virodho Vakyayor Yatra Na Apramanyam Tadishyate Yatha Aviruddhata Cha Syat Tadartha Kalpyate Tayo. Virodho Vakyayor Yatra, when there are two opposite statements. I'll give you an example. You can find this in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. One of the 64 limbs of Bhakti is Naivedya, accepting remnants of Bhagwan. So, Naivedya Mannam Tulasi Vimishram. So, that verse is quoted. You eat prasad of in front of Sri Krishna, that which has been offered to Sri Krishna. Sri Jiva Goswami says, no, you should not eat in front of Sri Krishna, even though it has been offered to Sri Krishna. He says, Lyap Lope Panchami. He uses a grammar rule and says, away from Krishna you eat. He justifies it grammatically. Eat away from direct presence of the deity. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur problematizes it and says, no, one should not think that one has to eat away from the deity. One can eat prasad in front of the deity, but one should not eat pan, bitter leaf, in front of the deity. Everybody knows what is a pan. Bitter leaf in front of the deity. So what is the intention of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur? His intention is one should not appear like a royal king in front of the deity. Because kings, they eat pan in front. But you can eat prasad. Sri Jiva Goswami says you should not eat anything in front of the deity. Now we are here in a classic situation when one acharya is negating the other acharya, previous acharya. Now how do we? And Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Sanskrit says natu, not that what Jiva Goswami said, natu, not what he has said. I read it myself to understand that, that this is clearly a negation of a previous acharya. Now what do I do? Now I am stuck in a situation where if I side with one acharya, I am going against Sri Jiva. If I am siding with Sri Jiva, I am going against Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. What do I do? So Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan, in the commentary to that verse, Virodho Vakyayor Yatra, in his commentary to Laghu Bhagavatamritam, he says, he gives a nyay, he gives a logic. Please repeat after me. Udita, Anudita, Homa, Nyay. Udit, Anudit, Hom, Nyay. So what does this mean? It means, it is a Nyay Shastra explains. In some parts of the Vedas, it is said, Udite Hotavyam. Offer oblations in the fire after the sun has risen. If you offer before sunrise, the dogs of the demigods will eat your offerings. Another part of the Veda says, Anudite Hotavyam. Offer fire sacrifice before sun rises. If you offer after sunrise, then another set of dogs will eat your offering. So when should I offer? Before sunrise or after sunrise? So that classic problem is taken up in Nyaya Shastra. Some people say just at dawn. That's not how the Vedas are supposed to be understood. So the answer given in Nyaya Shastra is, you stick to one position, one bona fide position, and the negative effects of the other position will not come to you. I hope you are able to understand. This is called as Udit, Anudit, Hom Nyay. Stick to one acharya according to your liking. I hope you are able to understand. Udit, Anudit, Hom. Fire sacrifice before the sun rises, after the. This is the logic of the fire sacrifice before the sunrise and after the sunrise.
So we can discover here the intention is should not be compromised. If the intention is for, and there is not any like opposite danta or paras.
So then we can take any one side. So for example, some temples are small and you cannot have another separate prasad room. You have to side with Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. We have no option with you. Some temples are big. They have
sometimes they close the curtains if the temple is small.
So most temples side with Srila Jiva Goswami, saying that don't eat in front of the deity. Srila Jiva Goswami did not say close the curtains. He said go away from the place. So some temples are small. You have to side with Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. We have no option left with you.
And when you have a big festival, you also cannot.
So what do? So the negative effects of what Sri Jiva Goswami, of not following Sri Jiva Goswami, will not come to you because you are following another acharya within the same tradition. Udit, Anudit, Hom Nyay. Let us poor followers be spared of the problems. So
And
this-
then I have to always stick to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti
No.
Thakur? No.
If you have a big temple with a separate prasadam hall, you can stick to Sri Jiva Goswami.
Oh.
That's all right. Huh?
If you go to a small temple, you stick with one.
Ah, okay. So there's some flexibility.
Flexibility is there. All right?
According to time and circumstance.
Yeah.
You mentioned Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Baladev Vijayabhushan, who was inspired by his Gurudev to defeat in Jaipur when there certain personalities were trying to convince that Radharani should be taken out of the temple. And he established, and we're eternally indebted to him for establishing the position of Radharani. So generally in Gaudiya temples, it's Gaur, Radha Krishna, etc. So my question is, we see in Banki Bihari, for instance, and Radharaman, of course in Radharaman, the Goswamis explain, of course they also have externally something that represents Radharani, but also you talk to the Goswamis and they say Radharani is within Radharaman. But in Banki Bihari, there's no Radharani. So do you understand a kind of a question? Because generally we don't want to take Krishna away from Radharani.
So therefore the Gaudiya Vaishnava temples always have had Sri Radha.
Right.
In Sri Radha Raman temple there is Radha Yantra, Shri Yantra, which is kept, which has a represent, because they say that the history is they tried to establish a deity, but the deity kept disappearing and merging in the body of Sri Radha Raman. So that is what the history says there. But at least they have a Shri Yantra which represents Sri Radha separately. And Gaudiya Vaishnava understanding is Shri should be kept separate and Krishna should be kept separate, even in the name and in the form. So that is Gaudiya Vaishnava understanding. Some exception is Sri Radha Raman. Originally Madan Mohan deity was alone. Then Gaudiya Vaishnava understanding is all deities were Sri Radha was there with every deity. We don't keep deity alone. So if in the name we are adding Shri, in the form also we should add Shri. So in the form also we have Shri with Madan Mohan, Gopinath and Govindadev. But other sampradayas may have their own understanding. There are temples of Shri Krishna. You go to Udupi, there is Krishna alone.
What sampradaya is Banki Bihari?
I think it's
Oh,
Radha Vallabh Sampradaya.
Swami Haridas.
Swami Haridas. Swami Haridas. Yeah. Haridas Sampradaya. They say it is combined from. But, yeah, I have not gone into that detail, but I mainly visit our 7 temples. Yeah, I am happy with 7 temples. So, see, my vision is that because my Shiksha Guru, Srimati Gaur Govind Maharaj, he said wherever Gaur is not there, try, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood is not there, don't try to go for tourism. Aisa. That is his mode. That is the mood I try to follow. That, but respects to all the temples. That is my mode. Respects to every temple. Okay. ठीक है?
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Let's say a few words.
Maharaj, please point out mistakes. I would be very appreciative of that. Because people who say, there are people who say nice things, but I want some criticism. Please.
It's 2 o'clock.
Please tell me if there's any improvements or mistakes. I'll be very happy.
I want to say one thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes devotees, they don't understand and not ready to understand the Acharya's commentary. So quarreling for one side.
Yeah.
This is the problem.
Yes.
We should release the sweetness of different commentaries,
Yes.
of different Acharyas.
Reconcile.
Yeah, reconcile. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. That we should improve.
This is personalism.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
but some may be your preference.
Some are preference.
Yeah.
I am little biased person. I am a little biased. I am happy that I take that point.
And in the beginning also, you must have read, at the beginning of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, already contradiction coming between Vishwanath Chakravarti and Jiva
Oh
Goswami.
yes. the avyapti and ativyapti dosh.
Yes, there
I
are.
remember.
Yes.
Because when Anyabhilasita Shunyam Anukulyena Krishna
Yeah,
Nushilana,
that.
where he gives the example of Mother Yashoda,
Yes.
she's externally behaving unfavorably, but it is considered as favorable devotional service. And the demons, they are externally behaving favorably by inviting Krishna to fight, but it is considered as unfavorable. This is there is Ativyapti and Avyapti dosh in the explanation of Sri Jiva Goswami. And he points out a fault in the explanation of the previous acharya, something which is unheard of in our communities. Somebody may be banned for saying like that if they do that in today's day and age, but it was done previously. So that is broad-minded, yes. Dosha vachya gurorapi and guna vachya shatrorapi. So that learn to realize that if there some statements from the gurus may also be problematic. Learn to appreciate that some statements of the enemies or opposite camp may also be genuine. So this is.
Then why Krishna is the Vallabhacharya based on the Sridhar Goswami commentary? If that is true, here our both Acharya differ to one each other, Jiva Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti, then why is
Because the sole intention of that commentary was to fault Sridhar Swami.
Okay.
The main point of that commentary was to fault Sridhar Swami. There is one thing is difference is one thing. Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, they differ in their Gita commentaries on many points. There is one verse, aparyaptam tadasmakam balam bhishma bhirakshitam paryaptam tvidametesham balam bhima bhi. Our army is aparyapta. Aparyapta has both meanings, sufficient and insufficient. And the other army is paryapta. It also has both meanings, sufficient and insufficient. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur takes a different meaning and Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan takes a different. That is a different angle. Well, let's say today I write a commentary and say, today I want to supersede Govind Bhashya, so I am writing a new one. And I will show where Govinda Bhashya is problematic and my Bhashya is improving upon that. That intention is problematic. That intention is problematic. Yeah, Eklavya.
Sometimes we see that even the same Acharya, sometimes like we were speaking in Jaiva Dharma, saying that it's presented in different ways for
different audience,
different listeners.
Yeah.
Sometimes the same Acharya will say certain things, so that some of his disciples will see one way, and then sometimes that same Acharya will say it a different way.
Yeah.
Like some devotees quote my Gurudev Srila Prabhupada that the jiva is fallen from Vaikuntha. And other ways you can find where he says, no, it's impossible.
Right.
You know, how could that happen?
Yeah. So that's also happened, but I'm an ISKCON member. I'm governed by the 1995 resolution. It is being recorded.
I thought you said Govinda Maharaj is your Siksha Guru.
Yeah. I agree with Gaur Govinda Maharaj. But I want to remain in the society. Okay.
When is your Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu series coming? You stopped in after 7 8.
Yeah. The students were not willing to continue, so they had many other things to do. If there is a good group, we will do it.
We were so excited. We thought after Udeshamrit we will start this only, and we were so excited about it.
We'll do maybe after Shikshashtakam. Thank you.
Prabhu's
Yeah.
question.
Okay.
You cannot write it this way, because it is controversial.
Yeah.
We don't do loaded questions.
Yeah. ISKCON is one of the best societies in the world. I found my shelter in ISKCON. I have immense respect for all other Gaudiya Vaishnava societies. And my father taught me one thing in my childhood, which I follow till this date. One time I saw my father and my uncle, my father's brother, having some argument over property, village property. So later I asked my father, why were you quarreling with uncle? My father said, it has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you. You are not supposed to know. It has nothing to do with you. Till this date, I don't know. So I have respect for my uncle because I don't know what was the reason for the quarrel. I wish it could have, the same thing could have happened in our Gaudiya Vaishnava generations.
True. When we perceive it like everyone is attempting to serve and
Yeah.
grow, then there is no such
Yeah.
why.
Yeah. So I wish a similar thing. My father taught me this. Don't look at the problems of your previous generation. Don't pass the negativities of the previous generation to the next generation. The next generation is already going to have a lot of negativities of their own. Don't give them a compilation of the previous negativities. So that is what I'd like to say. But even if a guru has made a statement, we should see, check, because sometimes we blindly accept. We should see and check everything, because sometimes we are not willing to entertain the possibility that there may be an alternative point of view, and I am not of that mindset. My mindset is that an alternative point of view can come up at any point of time, and I should be willing to have the maturity to accept it, even though sometimes my Gurujanas may have spoken the other point of view. That's all right.
So that is the area of reconciliation.
Reconciliation. Yeah.
The astrologer said Srila Prabhupada could create a house in the which the whole world can live.
Yeah. Yeah. That is only possible if they don't fight with each other. Yeah.
We should have to stick with Rupa Goswami.
Yeah, Rupa Goswami. Okay, one last query, Mataji.
I don't know where it's from, but isn't there a sloka that if two seniors have a disagreement, you should never go in between? Like
Chaitanya Bhagavat,
Okay.
Dvaitacharya and Nityananda.
Okay. Yeah. There are incidents like that, but the general principle is given by Sri Rupa Goswami: Virodho vakyayor yatra na apramanyam tadishyate. When there are two contradictory statements, one statement should not be rejected, because rejecting one statement is rejecting your own parampara. So that by rejecting any one statement, you are rejecting your own parampara, one of the links of your own parampara. Yatha aviruddhata cha syat tadartha kalpyate tayo. Later you can give a reconciliation which justifies both parts, both sides. That is good for us. Okay. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.